recording. Start stream. There we go. That seems better. Let's see if this works out. Alright, looks like we're live. Okay, good. Good morning. Let's see if we can't make some good decisions today. Cool. Alrighty. I got Maximus in here right now. He's hanging out with us today. Wife is off doing some stuff, so we are here. I may have to bounce in and out to take care of him, but for now, we're just being patient. It's a Friday. We got ourselves some coffee, a donut here. We're ready to go. My computer is very oddly clean. My desk. We were taking some product photos yesterday for our website. Alright, so we're sitting on yesterday's low. We have the overnight high here at the green and the overnight low down below. We're gonna have to wait and see. We had PCE come out. That was a little bit hot. Well, actually, I'm sorry. Core PCE came in. I didn't want to refresh. Today is Friday. Core PCE came in line at 0.2%. Personal income came in line at 0.3%, but personal spending beat at 0.7% as opposed to 0.4% expected. So just be mindful of that. Everything else seemed to have came in line. We're going to be possibly going to move her on the pending home sales like we did yesterday on the home sales, but we are not really too concerned about those. It might just be a little bit of a whippy action, bounce us a little bit and then carry on. All right, so we are open now. Let's see how the day goes. Like I said, it's Friday, being patient with everything. We're opening at yesterday's at yesterday's low. The close is around here. Settlement, I posted up in there at the alert. Settlement was at 634.50. So 634.50. So right around the same area we're at now. Up in here. Yeah, because we ended up actually closing right around here. So 34.50 right there is settlement. They call this the close on here. That's just when it actually totally finally closes for the day with the post market session. And we did open a slight gap here, so maybe get that filled kind of quickly since we're right around it. That 580 level could come into play. If we do flush yesterday's low, we could rotate back down into previous session lows. Overnight lows. Overnight highs are here. They're pretty close. So we are going to just kind of be patient with it. Yesterday we had a pretty decent sell-off after I got off of the stream. We were taking sells from those highs. I had to get off. I was up a decent amount, so I'm cool with the day not having caught the rest of that move to the downside. But we did actually eventually catch the low end of the overnight session. So our opening range is done. It's 127 ticks. If you want to see this thing whip up, clean up this little gap, and then kind of fail this level here, like I said, we could possibly look to crack below yesterday's low and start to accept lower prices. If not, if we flush the low, kind of hold this as support and rotate back to the high side, then we can clean some of that up as well. So just be mindful of that as we go forward for the day. I do want my other charts up. Microsoft, Apple. Apple's pushing up a little bit here. We are still holding below 194.48. You see it right there. Now we're kind of cracking above it, so the futures should possibly follow that, but If it rejects, then that rotation to the downside could be there. Just be mindful of Apple, Microsoft. Also kind of just sitting at that opening level, not much doing within the range of the pre-market session. Nvidia is pushing up a bit. So NQ1, boom. Oop. Alrighty. So yeah, this is what I watch on the side when I'm not on my charts here. You can see that we have a value area here that was pretty important. So if we do hold this and start to rotate to the downside, we could end up rotating through that key level there and into the zone below. However, this previous line here may act as support and then push us through. With Apple being sort of bullish to start the day, we opened up and started to push up into this zone. We need to accept into here and rotate to the highs if we're going to carry on for the day. If not, if it rejects, it should rotate to the downside, back down to pre-market lows. So watch for that to kind of carry us down as well. I'm gonna be patient here. I do, like I said, I want to see that little gap down to kind of fill here, clean up that price action, which looks like we want to do right here, right now. If not, if we fail this level here, we could never look back and roll out to the downside. S&Ps are pushing to the highs. Yesterday, we do have a little bit of a divergence here between the S&Ps and the NASDAQ, right? So NASDAQ, S&Ps is here. Yesterday, we were really watching that 491650 level to act as support, and it pretty much did all day, right? All over here, we rotated to the downside, pushed back above it, then floated underneath it. So we kind of we work with these two levels pretty much exclusively at the moment. They seem to be pretty important. If this does seem to crack the high here, because the NASDAQ not quite catching up to that same price level here, right? These are both 30-minute charts, 30-minute ES, 30-minute NASDAQ, right? So we're kind of building some momentum here. It looks like it might want to catch up to this 30-minute candle here. If the S&Ps does push through and the NASDAQ's not pushing through yet, we're going to watch that 17,585 level. At 585 is above this gap fill. So we'll watch that. We're going to continue to watch Apple, which seems to be rolling over, rejecting that 194 level. So if it does crack the low of 193.80, then the futures could follow, because Apple would likely want to go to the pre-market lows. We're going to be a little bit aggressive today, but also it's Friday, so we're not going to be going wild all day. Let's see what happens here. If we do crack this 69 level again, we probably will give at least a push, but we have to see what's going on with this level there. I need to see what the S&Ps is going to do as long as they're pushing, but Apple is definitely not having it today. Microsoft is now also, it wicked a little bit of the high and it's rotating to the downside, and Nvidia is now pushing a lot harder, right? And it probably wants to hold, it's Friday, it wants to hold that 600 level. That's pretty important. Microsoft and Apple both looking to kind of rotate to the downside. So be mindful of this low here now. See if it is a flush or if it's just a liquidity grab. We do have a delta push as well. So let's see. If we come back into this here, I'm going to possibly look to go short here if it does return back into this zone. So I just want to see if it'll give me that little test back in there. Take the short and see if we can roll it over. There's that Apple for you, right? So I'm going to leave the Apple off screen. Just keep an eye on it. That's a wick there. Could be a liquidity grab, rotate to the high. Be mindful. I would love to see this thing kind of give me a little bit of a pop, liquidity grab, get up over that opening range, and then go rotate back to the downside. Am I trading live? I am trading live, bro. Yes, I am. Let's see if this will rotate up into that zone and then kind of fled back down. The only thing that I'm concerned with is that little bit of a gap there. That was such a small gap and we're so close to it. Oh, very nice. Welcome. Join the trading party. I appreciate you. Glad you made it to 20 and out. Get on up there. All right, we're looking to see if we can now rotate once again back to the downside. We're kind of looking to see if this will flush or if this is just going to be that previous session low, flush, rotate to the high side. Like I said, that gap there up to 80 just is the concerning thing for me in this kind of trade. You got a little bit of a wick action here on Apple to the downside. Didn't quite flush that low to rotate down. So I am just kind of looking to see if this will be a true pop or if it's going to be a failure at this zone, right? If we get back up to 59.60 in that area, if it rotates into there, fails, and then comes back down. I'm not in a position yet. I'm just monitoring this, looking for something to set up. I'm just really being mindful of what the price action is doing. Very early in the day like this, especially on a Friday, I want the price action to sort of pick a direction before I could really start getting involved. Friday, it'll chop around a little bit at times and then pick a direction and just start going that way for the rest of the day. So I'm going to just wait and see what's going on with it. If this is just going to be a failed break of the previous session low and we rotate through and try to clean up overnight highs, that's something I'm looking at right there as well. So just because we did hold this level here, I'm going to be pretty interested in that going to the long side, fading this extreme to the downside. Alrighty, let's see if we can get anything going here. 43% short. S&P's is right between the two levels, right, that I was showing here. S&P's right in the middle of the range. All right. The wife is finally at her destination. So it's starting to roll a bit again. Can we get this thing to kind of push down again right through the bottom of that 30-minute candle here below 540, 42? It's holding that level there. If we do get a little bit of a flush here, we should probably rotate to the downside now. I am going to look to see if that'll take us short. I will go in one position here short. Now let's see if we can carry this momentum to the downside or if this is just going to be a liquidity grab again and then a pop to the upside. So I'm going to take it as a short. I'm going to cut my loss kind of quick on it if I think it's going to really just explode to the upside. But realistically, I think just because we're at this previous session low and we're looking to flush it, I just want to kind of get into it early. If we do break this low here, you can see this high volume node right there at 34. I want to break that. If we can break that, then we should definitely rotate to the overnight lows. Right now, we're just grabbing a bunch of liquidity. Apple is just kind of fidgeting around there. That 2375, 2550 level, 2550 is down here. Oh, so we're pushing up pretty hard off that previous session low. So that could be an indication that we're going to rotate back to high. So just being patient with this a little bit at this area to try and catch this flush to the downside. You can see these wicks up here looking to grab some liquidity and rotate to the downside. That's really what I wanted to see. So if we do crack it again, I'm going to try and be quick with my stop. I want a flush VWAP. Really, that's really what I want to see. If we crack this high here, we might pop. So I'm going to get stopped out there. Yeah, we're going to probably get stopped here on this little pop if it does want to continue. Yeah. Come on, rotate to the downside here. Flush me. This would be a good time to flush if you're going to do it. You got to talk to it sometimes, you know? You know? Nothing doing here. Yeah. There we go. Come on, rotate down. go. Come on, baby. Now we're gonna. If it breaks that high there, then it's probably gonna continue on to the upside. So I want to be out if it does break that. If we don't flush this point right here, then I might want to even move my stop a little tighter. If we do flush it, then I should probably even tighten up a bit because I don't want this thing to come back up and take me out for a big oversized loss. So I'm going to kind of trail this as almost as if I got in there at 55. That was a nice liquidity grab, but at the same time, we are in a zone where we could grab some more liquidity and pop to the upside real fast, real hard. And I don't want to be involved in that. I want to be out if it does kind of crack the high there at 55 again, because that should really carry some momentum to the upside. I'll be wrong and then look to flip my thought process to the long side. Yeah, I want to be out here. So I'm out. I'm flat on that. I don't want to get, if this comes up here, whips up, and then doesn't fail right away, the likelihood of it rotating back to the high side is higher. So I'm going to take this now long, and I'm going to wait and see if this thing can now use this liquidity, grab from the bottom, and push to the high side. So I'm pretty aggressive on some of these trades. Like I said, I was missing some of them last week, some of them early this week. So I'm looking to see if I can't push this to the high. Yes, Bex. Look at it. Ooh, look at that. A truck. Nice. All right, maybe I got a little too quick with that flip to the long side. Yeah. Apple's not quite playing along. I wanted to bounce here from this low. If it wasn't going to flush the low there, then it should have probably bounced from here. Because we're in this little overnight post-market session, pre-market liquidity zone for Apple. If we do crack the high here, then I want to see maybe I'll add on above the breakout of the opening range. Get a second contract on there. I want to clean up this. I'll clean this up. So if we close that gap there, I'll take one off at the gap and let the other one run if it does want to break out from here. If it doesn't want to, if it wants to roll over, then we're going to be stopped out again, which is okay by me. We're just going to take our hits, and then we're going to try and catch our long and be make up our trades for the day here. That's a pretty sweet candle to the downside there. A little tight on this. Yeah, we're out again. So 2 trades pretty quickly put ourselves in a hole. So now we're going to just dig out. Nice little liquidity grab there. It seemed like I tried to grab that break of that previous session low. It didn't want to play. Then we tried to take the long on that breakout. Didn't happen there. So we're going to be a little more patient, be a little selective. We're going to make it up here. We're probably going to get a little whippy action down here at the bottom again. We're not making new lows, which is interesting on the delta. So that is my confluence on a divergence. So if we do get going here. Alrighty. I wanted to see this thing pop off of there. And then if we get through the highs, I'll add a second above here, and then I'm going to take profit of the gap close. I'm going to be quick with my my stop loss. I want a free trade on it, but I also want to be able to capitalize on some of this move here. Wow, that's actually pushing down again. Delta divergence, though we are pushing higher on the delta and we're trying to make lows on price action. So we should be able to get a little bit of a bounce there from that divergence, right? This could be just another liquidity grab here to push us back to the upside. I want to close that little gap that was created. It wasn't a big enough gap to just not get filled, so that's my mindset on that. I want this thing to push here. If it's not going to push here, then we will get stopped out again. Where was I at? 42. I'm going to leave that down there for now. Below the opening range low. Where's my Apple? Apple looking to crack lows, so that's not helping my cause here. Microsoft, it's got a little bit of whippy tail. Nvidia, Nvidia's melting off, and that's not good for me. So we're probably gonna get stopped out here on that because of Nvidia. All right, 3 for 3 in losses just to kick us off for the day. Right there. All right, let's see if we can't get this. Look at this liquidity grab there, man. we're going to catch one here. We're definitely going to be able to make it up and then some. Getting a little choppy for myself. A little bit. I try to be aggressive in this overnight. Low. Nvidia now looking to catch a little bit of a bid there. Let's see if Apple bounces. Yes, Apple's bouncing. So let's see. Let's grab it here. I'll take it one more time. We'll add, like I said, we're going to add above the highs here. And then we're going to take the take profit above this gap. Slowing myself down here a bit. I want to add on if it does rip back up to the highs there. I do want this to not break lows. That would be invalidating this. Where's the stop here? Stop has to be even there. Oh. Okay, we're in a second. Oh, we did get in. We got triggered, huh? Okay, we got triggered on that ad. So now we are here. We don't want to get this to take us out now. There we go. Trying to hold it, trying to hold that previous session low. Would like to take one off at this high here. If we can get above it. It's flirting with this bottom, man. It's getting heavy, getting heavy, getting heavy. A failed breakdown should lead us to rotation to the highs. Let's go. Get up there. Gotta get up there. Gotta get through it. I actually want to take the first one off at above that level there. There we go. We're pushing now. I want to be out if we flush the low. I don't want to take a big loss on that. I want to see if I can get one off at a break above 55, and then we can keep one contract on. Hopefully that whippy action there gets us to continue to the upside. If not, that's going to stop us to the downside. So I'm going to look to keep this above break even now. I don't want to lose on this. Yeah, you don't want to go green to red on that kind of trade there with an ad. Flatten that. It'll probably get triggered now that we were in it and out. Alrighty. Oh, I never put my copier on. I guess that's good for the combine. All right, let's see if we can. I can't go below 1900, so. Alrighty, we're kind of just chopping here, chopping ourselves up a little bit. It feels like a liquidity grab to the downside. Apple is pushing. S&P looking like it's going to rotate to the downside. There's that another flush to the bottom. If this flush to the bottom fails, then a rotation to the high could happen. Like I said, there. I've been taking multiple shots at this. This seems like now it's going to rotate down. Let's see if we can get that true flush and a direction choice by the Friday session here. Let's see if it'll pick that. Okay. We're going to look to see if we could get this thing now to grab its liquidity and push us up and rock it off. I'm going to take profit on this if it does pop off. I forgot to put the copy trading on. I'm going to put the copy trader, got to run it so I can get my other combine involved. Okay, we are definitely, what's up SG, how are you doing? All right. We're down. We put ourselves in a nice little hole to start, but we're looking to bounce back here catch a failed break to the downside, look maybe to rotate back up to the highs, but we need Apple to continue to play along. If Apple could get closer back to that 194, we should tend to break that above. We're at the bottom of this little liquidity area for the NASDAQ, and we are now cracking it below. So look to see if that maybe is liquidity grab or if it's going to be a continuation down to the downside. We're going to flatten these orders. We're going to wait for something a little bit better to give us an entry here, right? We had some chop in the overnight around this zone. That was a zone from prior that I've had drawn up for a little bit here. So we're going to look, right? We played a breakout there in the past. Let's see if we can't get another little bounce from here as well. We did leave the opening range high as the high of the day so far. S&P's is holding that 49.1650, so this could be a bounce here. We're going to look to see if we can get a delta divergence also. Right. Tried to get a little aggressive on it. The short position probably was the right idea originally. We did get in it, and then just the failed attempts to break it, I wanted to go get that thing to rotate up and clean up that little gap there. Not to say that won't happen again, but a lot of times on Fridays, once they do pick a direction, it may continue in that direction for the rest of the day. So let's just be mindful of that. We are going to be mindful of this area as well. Look for a little delta divergence, maybe a bounce, secondary touch, run up to the high. If this is a failed breakdown, then like yesterday, we took that same type of move here, right? We took a buy, we added, and then we took off here, right? That's the kind of move that we expect here to fail a breakdown. If it does fail here and then decides to V-bottom, we want to see this thing continue to rally, get some momentum going behind it if it does fail this breakout to the downside. If it doesn't fail, if it wants to come back into that previous session low, hold the VWAP to the downside, and then continue to rotate on, then you'll look to see the shorts continue to play. But we need to see that happen. You could see that this acted as a good resistance once, twice in the overnight, but that was on the way up. Now we're on the way down. Let's see if it'll play as well. Price pushing up, Delta kind of not playing along perfectly, so we may get another leg to the downside. Delta divergence, not pushing lows, price trying to push down lower. So if we fail it, we're going to get involved above 30. We're going to try and get this thing to really push to the upside. We'll get an add on here. There's 5 minutes to the top of the hour. Normally, I don't like to enter any sort of trade beforehand, before that 9 o'clock hour. If we do get a flush of the low and we don't flush the low in the delta here, the cumulative delta, then we can look to see this thing fail that breakdown and then play a bounce from here. I haven't been aggressive in my entries. So yesterday I was a little bit more aggressive. Today I'm being a little more aggressive. Yes, I got myself into a hole, but if we could get this thing to play along, then we should, in theory, be able to rotate to the back to the high. I use Quant Tower. Price trying to push down, Delta trying to push up. I like that here for this to be a failure of this downside push. I would like to see it maybe wick it here. That would even give me more confluence, right? Give us a little bit of a wick test and then a failure of 20. But if we just bounce here, I do want to get involved because I've been missing some of these plays because I haven't been entering on the first go at the delta divergence, and that's been hurting me a little bit. $17, 513.75. 513.75 was a key level yesterday or previous days. All right, so we're going long here. We had the delta divergence. We were at a liquidity zone. If it's going to be that kind of move where it's going to play out, we're going to look to see if this thing can get us triggered into that second entry. And if it does get us triggered in there, then hopefully we can continue on with the idea of rotating all the way up to maybe overnight highs. We're going to really look to see what we can get off on this kind of gap close there. But see that if we can flush through VWAP, if we rotate right through VWAP, we'll get triggered in because we're going to fail that previous session low. It's a failed breakout to the downside. Then we're going to get that liquidity push to the upside. Not looking to lose a ton on this, so if I get triggered in, I'm going to move this stop to break even. Well, I'm going to do that now. And we're going to take that stop down below this low here. And if we do accept above here, we should be able to kind of keep going, push to the upside. If it does not, then that rotation to the downside is still valid, which looks like it wants to kind of, if it gets through there, it's going to push. So Apple is pushing back above that 194, accepting into that range that we had yesterday. So if it doesn't fail that, we should continue back to the upside here as well. I'm going to move this ad up to, nope, the ad's going to be below this little range here. I'm not trying to give back a ton on this. I want to even up my stops there to be one congruent stop. If we're going to do this, we're going to do this right. We're going to be out quick if it does fail this, because it should just kind of continue to break out pretty hard from here. We're going to continue on to the upside here. We're going to look to maybe shed, like I said, I want to shed one at 69s. I'm going to trail it tight though. So if I don't get the shed, we're going to not want to fail that previous session low again. So we're below there on the stop. Hopefully this can continue up through these previous levels, right? We had that failed breakdown. So when you get a failed breakdown or a breakout, and you're looking to play the other direction, it usually happens pretty quickly and with some strength. So if we do get above our yellow zone here, we're going to trail to that point of control, which is 549-ish. So we're at that right now. All right, we're going to rotate hard to the downside, push, push, push. There we go. So didn't quite get it. We took a little bit off there. We took some profit. We didn't want to turn that from a green to a red, and now it's rotating down harder. So it looks like it's, oops. It looks like it wants to go to the downside for the day, right? Apple kind of failing that. Now it wicked it and it's rotating back above that area. Alrighty. Didn't get the breakout from that area, right? We failed that as well. So this could continue to sell off. Bouncing ourselves around a little bit here. Looking to see what we got going on as far as liquidity is concerned. We're definitely rotating to the downside. All right, Apple really trying to hold that 194.51, which is good for longs. Microsoft not playing along. It is selling to the downside here at 403. If it breaks down below that opening range and goes red for the day, then you can expect this thing to continue to bleed for the rest of the day. Again, it's 9:01. Got a good. Apple wants to go. I think this is going to still want to go. We're going to re-enter that where we had our ad. Give her stop down here. Might be quick with this one as well. Rotating down again through this higher volume node there. And Delta is continuing to converge here. We got S&P is breaking that 49.1650 level to the downside, but now trying to hold it. This is the S&Ps right there. We got the NASDAQ looking to approach that 513s again, but we did choose to go to the downside. So, like I said, if we do break above here, we should have broke with some power since we did have that failed breakdown, right? We're going to look to see if this will break. We got this high volume area looking at 535, 50. I'm gonna try it again on the long side one more time, see if we can't push to the high side. With the original plan there of trying to get this thing to close that gap. Then I gotta set a stop for the ad if it does play along. Kind of front running that a little bit. If it is gonna fail again, it's gonna fail us hard and fast and get us stopped out. Apple's still playing to the upside. Look at that move to the upside on Apple, but our price is just melting off on the NASDAQ. So we didn't get what we wanted there at all. It's interesting how they're diverging a little bit here. I'm not afraid to take multiple shots at a shot here to go break us out just based on this extreme not playing to the downside either. It's not quite breaking. But the interesting part is that Apple is pushing higher and the price is not. Microsoft is kind of just sitting in the range there. And Nvidia is, you know, pushing to the downside, but it hasn't flushed either that low. So if we can get any of these names, like Apple is pushing that pre-market high there. 194.48 was a key level for me. And Microsoft playing with that 403.50 number there from the pre-market. So we are continuing to show strength in some of these names, but also the futures is weak. So there was a nice little bounce there. We didn't make a new low. We're making a higher low here at our zone. If we can get a good flush on it, we can wait and see what happens there. If not, we'll see where we can go to the downside. We can continue to get to that overnight low. The shorts are not super heavy, so it could continue to the downside. Kind of talked through how it would end up being a short, and I ended up flipping myself to the long. Pushing. Could this actually be the flush? It looks like a NASDAQ, S&Ps did break that 49.16, so this should flush now. And if it doesn't here, like we got a congruence on Delta here. Delta's pushing down hard. Price is pushing down hard. We're short 62% on their tilt meter there. Nothing doing for right now for me. Reasonably short was my first bias was a breakdown of the previous session low should rotate us to the overnight low. We did just crack 513, which was a key level for me in the past. I'm going to flatten all these orders there. Looking to now see if they will continue to the downside or if this is going to be a liquidity grab at 513 to, you know, that's the top end of this range here. We have these two, this big wide choppy range from a few days ago. So be mindful of that. Could that reject? Could we possibly push back up from here? Or if we're going to continue to the downside, we have 17,465. So price is pretty heavy. We did leave the opening range at the high. We're at value area low. So we're going to see what goes on from here the rest of the time. I want to see if I can catch this to the high side. One shot at this bounce. Can I get this thing to push? Can it be a failed break down? If If it is, I want to add to my position in my normal add where my initial point was. Okay, free trade there. Not trying to get stopped out at the lows. If this is just gonna be a liquidity grab to the high side, but if it's gonna continue on, it should continue right here. If we do crack the trend line now, that's a breakout of this little downtrend, this little wedge. But if it doesn't break through 535, that's a high volume node there. That was the initial flush point, so be mindful of that. Could rotate us down again, but we are risk free on this, so it doesn't matter to me. I'm looking to just kind of continue to kind of manage this to the upside. It is a bounce play type play. Fade the extreme, rotate back to the overnight high from a key level of 513. 513 was my level there. We held 49.16 on the S&Ps. So if that holds, then we should be able to continue to push this up. If we got to get through 535 though, if we can't get through 535, there's big orders there. We're gonna probably rotate back down to the downside and get stopped out right here. But nope, still trying to push it, still trying to get above it. That was a little bit of a whippy liquidity grab type move there. Trying to maximize our potential on it, but also not get rolled. So now we're rolling again, pushing down. If we try to make new lows and don't make new lows on Delta, we'll take that long again. Can't be hating on a level. Alrighty. That's still a valid long, so I'm going to leave that there if it does come up to that point. But we're going to see if we can play with this level. There we go. If this does break here, hopefully we can get this thing to push. I mean, I stopped myself out. I didn't want to be involved if this was going to rotate back to the downside. I'm okay with that because like we did yesterday, we were able to kind of just get chopped a little on, base hit, loss, base hit, loss, break even. And then we took our two pretty good trades. So if we put ourselves in a position to be able to take those trades, we should be just fine. Apple failing that 194 level though, that is pretty important. So we did make pretty much new highs in Apple, and the Nasdaq has pushed to the downside further. So just that divergence there, if Apple does fail, then you should get the actual total flush of the Nasdaq. But if Apple does hold up and the market kind of just lingers around here and you do get a pop or a spike in it, then that could get us rotating back to the upside. Microsoft also just kind of like wicking the bottom, not really looking to break it, so we could be in a range bound type day. And if Microsoft bounce off the bottom, then Apple could follow along to the back to the upside, and Nvidia. But I think if we get a break in Apple, then you get a breakdown hard, because Apple's been the only thing that's really been holding this up. So you get that break at 194 there. It does look like it wants to rotate down. You still have that resistance at 31, 194.31. So we're just watching all the confluences here to see if we can get ourselves involved in something. Nothing. I forced in a couple there, flip-flopped around a bit. Probably could have took profits on a couple of them to just battle back, but some of these moves look like they want to do a little bit more than they have. So I trailed out and get stopped. So I'm fine with that. I think if we finally do get the move that we're looking for, then we'll be a happy camper to end the week. Like right here, right now, if we do not fail this breakdown, right, this is a wick down, grab of liquidity, but we are in like a channel here, so we do have this. So be mindful of that to the downside, all the way down to 17,491. But if we do not make a new low here, you are divergent on the delta, right? Everything seems to be kind of being held up by this price action here. 513 was our key level. S&P's is holding 49.16. Same thing as yesterday that we did. So I'm looking to get this thing to bounce off of here, rotate through these highs, and we could hopefully catch a little bit of this and maybe even run it, get lucky and run it all the way to the overnight high. The reason I have my entry up here is if it needs to be able to not hold below the previous session low, right? I have that blue line there for the previous session low. I want to make sure that that's able to be rejected, right? That acceptance below it. So let's see if we can get this thing to break out there. If it can, then we should kind of carry on. Can we get this breakout here now? Will it happen here? Is this the time? Is this the right time? Is it the wrong time? S&Ps did hold that 49.16. We are dancing around with these levels. What's Apple doing? Apple is holding right at that 194.49. I want to see if that'll play again as a pretty key level to hold us up. And if that does hold us up and continues to hold the market up, and any of these other names, NVIDIA, Microsoft, NVIDIA is popping, so that's good for us. If Microsoft can now also find a bottom here and push back to those highs, then we may get this thing to Rip City, and we are adding above the zone there. So I'm gonna take one on the failed hold below here. My stop is below this liquidity zone there, below VWAP enough, hopefully. And then we're going to look to try and get involved, get one off at the opening range high, and then hopefully have a runner on to the, I would like to be well up into that range there, the overnight high. A little heavy on the tilt on the long side, but I think we still should see this thing pop for one. If we get into the yellow zone, we should continue to the high end of the yellow zone. That's my thought process there. The thought on the ad is if we do break it, then we possibly could rotate to that initial opening range high. But S&Ps is now looking to try and fail that 49.16 again, but it's holding pretty strong. Apple failed it again. Is this the failure that drags us down, or is it the liquidity grab to pop us back up? Microsoft now holding, but now pushing down. NVIDIA pushing down, and this could be now that if Apple breaks here, this is. See, you could see how you talk yourself in and out of these trades. Like that's why I'm leaving that order there, just in case one of these things decides to take off and run us up. If it doesn't, if this is going to be the sell here, if it's a false breakout, it holds VWAP, rotates to the downside, Apple breaks. If Apple breaks, which it just broke below that little bit of a piece there, that bottom support from pre-market. Let's see if that gets us to flush down the 194.10s. If that looks like that's going to happen, and then now if they act in confluence, then you should see this market continue to sell off. So Microsoft and NVIDIA both looking at bottoms. Yeah, look at that selling pressure there. That would have been a nice little short there. Just purely based on the failure of Apple. But I'm still watching this S&P, right? Because it's been coming down to this level once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. Yesterday it was 1, 2, 3, wick down quite a bit. and then would pop right back above and close above 49.16. So that's really important, because if it's not going to lead us to the downside, if it's going to kind of keep popping, keep grabbing liquidity, there's a reason for people to be like, all right, there's no way this is going to go short. We'll see if we can get this thing to go long. I'm very short biased most of the time, but since we've been pushing down, I like to fade. Like I said, I fade extremes. We're not quite anywhere near that overnight low. We are lingering around the previous session low, though, and we're building this sort of lower push, but not like a real big flush to the downside. So a lot of times on a Friday, especially, a slow grind move to what direction, I tend to see it pop off in the opposite direction kind of quickly. So that's why I'm leaving that buy order there, just as because this isn't flushing hard here. We did get a little bit of a delta. Like, we tried to make new highs, didn't quite get there, rotated back to the downside. Now we're sitting at these lows of the delta area. So if we can crack that again and crack this low, then you should see that continuation to the downside. If it does not, if it holds that and the new buyers start to come in and start to push us up again as prices as prices trying to make new lows, then you can see this thing possibly look to buy up again. I like the overnight low target. I mean, to me though, it's like it's not flushing. It's holding this level pretty well. This one seemed to have been like a liquidity grab, right? A double bottom, tweezer little bottom, right below value area low, and down into key levels from here and prior. Like I said, I have that 513 level drawn up as a key level. I might look to just catch a quick long off the bottom here if we can get one more little pop. But like I said, Delta's pushing. You're not getting a lot of bounce, so could get the flush there as well. Like Apple not playing along. It's got a little bit of a wick bottom here. $49.16 once again holds. So look at this price action, see if it'll give us that pop to the upside here on the NASDAQ. There's a pushing wicking VWAP. All right, let's see. Could be that new higher high on this end of the bottom end of this little small channel that we have going on here. If we make a little higher high here, we'll get triggered in. If we do not make a higher high and we start to rotate to the downside, then that could be that flush of 519 again and a rotate to the downside. But I have that buy order out there. I'm going to leave that thing set, see if it'll play out. We're building. Delta made new high. Price didn't quite make new highs. That's sort of telling us that the price is not quite strong enough to get through yet. But if it does start to build here and give us a strong push, then this should give you that little bit of a rocket ship type of move. I am going to leave my stop here below that zone. So hopefully we can not come back to that and we can hold VWAP if we get triggered in here. We're failing that previous session low. So hopefully we can hold it now as resistance. We're triggered into this long here. Looking to see if we can get triggered into that second entry. If we do that pretty quickly, then that should give us confluence to rotate to highs. At least high of the, like I said, to take off that one contract up there at the opening range high. That's what I'm looking to see. If we can get that. If we trigger in and the second ad, we move to break even right on the first trade. So we're not double risking. We're actually getting very close to that. So I don't want to be wicked in and then wicked out. So we're going to move that stop there to above break even. So if we do get triggered in here, it should pop. We should be able to get off that one contract there as well. So we are in on two contracts now. We are moving to the upside. We definitely got that bit of a move that we were looking for. Hopefully we can now hold that high and not just get some liquidity grab and sell off from here. So this is where I'm looking to get that momentum, carry it to the upside. If we do continue on a bit, I'm going to look to see if we can secure some of this. I'm going to trail one on the ad as we move up above here, just to kind of limit the risk on the ad. secure some of the profits instead of just holding it. But here we go. There's that push. Good stuff right there. Hopefully we can now sustain this push. Just really based on pure failure of the bottom. Looking to see if we can't hold this. Now, S&P's is trying to push to their opening range high. If we can do that, then we should hopefully get the NASDAQ to follow along. Like I said, I don't want this thing to roll me over now. Come on. Stay there. We got to hold this low. Don't be a failed breakout on the ad. Come on now. We don't want to let these ads really screw us over here, which just seems like it's doing, right? We failed that. Now we failed. The ad is now all we have on. We took one off there. We don't want to over risk here. If it does break again, that sucks to get stopped on that. We're adding again. Come on, flush this high, get up there, push up to those levels. Don't be a liquidity grab. Do me a favor. Don't do me no favors. Come on, push up. Let's do this. Push to the high side here. Don't be a liquidity grab. Let's go. Get this thing to push. We want this thing to continue to rally here. That little bit of liquidity grab there that stopped us out on that first order that could have been a much better entry than this secondary add to this ad here. But if we can definitely get this thing to pop, we should get off at least one of the contracts at that high there, 569s. I'm going to try and trail it now to secure back some of that loss that we just took on the ad. So this little bit of this second contract here, hopefully it will get us to kind of now push. S&P's is carrying us up. We're going to use this as break even now, so it shouldn't come back there, hopefully. But if it does, we've secured some. I'm going to trail this one piece here. If we get ticked out, we get ticked out. What the hell? Come on. Get up there. Get up there, boy. Break that high of 69s because the S&Ps did break their opening range high. So now we want to see if NASDAQ will follow. Oh, and we're out of all of it. Damn there. We got, all right, we recovered some of that stupid loss here. We're probably going to continue to the upside. We mismanaged that position a little bit on this, but really that pushed to the downside. You didn't want to get a full stop on two. We added that second contract there to try and get the push. We didn't get it. Now we're going to look to see what happens here on the 69. Could we break that high and continue to rotate to that side? But we were talking about this here being the best entry to go. I stopped myself out again here. If I would have left my stop at the bottom, we would be clean in the money here, no problems with an ad. And, you know, that was just poorly managed on my behalf there. So it happens. But let's see if we can get back down here. We are pushing up. Delta is making new highs. Price is making new highs. So we are confluent there. I just didn't like what I was seeing, so I was a little tight with it. How you doing, Max? You good? All right. There would have been we would have been off on one. Well, I mismanaged it, but I called out the levels pretty good. We looked like we wanted to continue on. It was nice there. If we do break this opening range high, look to see if we can rotate it. Continue up to the overnight high. If this can fail, then it should fail here. If not, I'm going to look to add a contract above here. Play this breakout. Be really quick with it. add any contracts to it, but I want to close that gap. But if price wants to go really wild, really fast, I want that take profit up there. S&P's is carrying us, so we are going to play the breakout here. There's the momentum push. If we do continue to push, then we should hold above here. We're going to close that gap. Look to be at break even now. I don't know why it's not doing it. There we go. So we're at break even. They're going to let this thing push. See what happens at the gap fill. If there's going to be profit taking there, we're going to trail it sort of tight. Look to get some of this profit back. Be up to there. See if we can get this thing to keep moving. You good, Max? All right, we're pushing. This breakout seems to be working out pretty well. We would have been really happy with our profits right now if we didn't treat that first entry like a little redheaded stepchild. But it is what it is. We are at the close. I'm going to definitely be looking to get out pretty quickly on this if it doesn't want to play along. Yeah, there we go, because that was that gap fill, so I wanted to secure some profits off of that. Get ourselves within one trade of making a good trade to close the day. Really, this was the entry here, 1-2 contracts. We would have definitely been off of one for, that would have been a nice little, money. 525 there, plus we had an ad here, a second ad, where we were looking to just trail. So that was another 4 or 5. So we were looking at $1,000 trade there with the ad and everything like that. We just did not hold correctly. We trailed ourselves out twice. We got wicked really hard on that. Once we added on that contract, we wicked. But you could see how good our zones are. Everything is acting like, how it should, above and below, kind of grabbing liquidity. So in theory, I definitely was looking to hold this below the session low, and I got a little bitched out on it. So you can see it happen live, getting bitched out on trade. There's that continued push to the upside now. 585 is a key line in the sand here. This is a pretty important zone from the overnight. We're going to do this. That's kind of important there, so just be mindful of that. You saw me just draw it up just this second. Let's see how that level plays. I'm going to use that as some sort of confluence. Maybe we can get a divergence here, push up, maybe tickle the top here, rotate back down. Or if we hold above it, we could try and get to that overnight high. Like I said, we want to clean out one of the levels. We don't want to stay between the zones. All right. Fridays. Love to get me going. Yeah. Okay, so 585 looks like it's trying to hold that level to the high side. If we do break this here and hold, then I would like to see a momentum break continue. I trailed this out here due to the fact that we closed the gap and we were probably going to get some rejection there, and I didn't want to give a lot back. But right now, this thing is just continuing to rip to the outside. We were talking about this failing to break down. We thought that if we got above here, then we should rotate to the overnight highs. We got ticked out on that stop, right? We had one on. We had a second contract on. We were looking good. Started to push up. Got a good little bounce. Came down literally, ticked us out to, I moved my stop a little too close. I wanted to be below that overnight low. But once we add that contract on, I don't want to have that huge risk. for that rollover. That was just kind of just shook me out. You know, it did its job. So let's see what happens at these overnight highs. What's Apple doing? Apple not making new highs. Microsoft rocketing up. There we go. Nvidia also pushing up. So Microsoft and Nvidia carrying us back up. Apple did a great job of holding us there. Now we're above post-market and pre-market levels. So let's see if it holds. Apple looking to now try and also play along. It could rotate up to that 195 level. We're going to see what happens at the overnight high. This is that high there, so we're going to watch that as well. So we're at 1 standard deviation from VWAP here. Fucking had there. Had the moves. Wick myself out. Alright, let's see. Got silly with it. We're at 17,600, so that's a key psychological level. And price is just burning right through it. So this should continue to the upside. We have a lot of buying momentum Friday. Microsoft, Nvidia, Apple. Apple not playing along, but if it does, then we'll see what happens. If it fails 194.48, we could look to see this rotate down. We're trying to get that one more good trade here. Like I said, we take the paper cuts. This was the move that we were looking to get, and we had it and we lost it on a wick test. So it happens. Sometimes that does happen. We're just going to keep trading, keep looking for opportunities, and see where we go from there. I'm not trying to pick a top here. Can we fail 600 again, make a little bit of a divergence here? However, we're going to look to see if that 590 top level holds here. If it doesn't hold, or if you get like a wick through it and kind of look to burn back above it, I'm not going to be afraid to try and take that long with that momentum that we have going on right now. If we can get down into this box here, grab some liquidity, and push back to the upside, I will be looking to take that long. Give me a little bit further of a push to the downside. Get into that range there. Reject some of these orders, and then I will look to go long above 90. Long above 90. So we're in. We're waiting to see if this thing will now push through that high. If it pushes through the high there, then we're going to move to break even. Right? Because we want to see this thing continue on to that overnight high and beyond. We're going to go to break even if we break the high. If we get to the overnight high, we're going to start to trail a little tighter. I'm not going to do any ads right now because we are at highs, right? Where we're pushing these levels at the high end of this. If I do play a breakout of it, you know, that's going to probably get me in trouble like it did before, right? So I don't like to play the breakout ads at highs, but I do believe that we could possibly be grabbing some liquidity here, looking to push to the high side. The only other thing I could do as far as an ad is concerned is if we re-enter this zone here, maybe throw on a contract if it re-breaks the same exact level. So not increasing my price, however, increasing my position size, and then I would tighten up my stop on a second ad. But we haven't gotten down there, and hopefully it doesn't give me another opportunity to add pushing through 90. I hope we leave this behind and we push the highs. That's really what I'm looking for here. I want to get that overnight high cleaned up. Overnight, pre-market, whatever you want to call it, because it was pretty early in the session, right? Okay, we're going to be looking to see if we can crack 600. If we can rip 600, then we're going to be at break even, because then we don't want a hard fail of 6. because usually if you break 600 here, then you should break above the high, right? That's my thought process on that, and then it's a liquidity grab, and then if it does do that, that's usually like my divergence setup, for a short. So I don't want that to be the hard fail right there, and then we don't get it. But right now, Delta's trying to push up. We're above 600. We're at break even. See if we can get to that overnight high. If we get to the overnight high, I'm going to move right to the highs here, and then look to trail to, if we get above it into that 621, then I'll be at the overnight highs as a stop and just trail it from there. Like I said, we're one good trade away from just kind of continuing our week. We had a shitty 2 days ago. We max drew down on Wednesday. Here we go. We're at that overnight high, just about there. Like I'm gonna front run that a bit, right? I'm gonna secure some of this, get some of this back. If it's gonna fail, that's my divergence strategy. If it's gonna fail that kind of break, then I don't want to be involved, right? I want to be out. I want to secure some of these profits. There you go. I'm out on that. Good for me. Let's do one good trade out. That's that divergence strategy I usually play, like a failed break, wick test, then we rotate down. I don't want to lose that whole bit that we had there on the breakout. So we got close enough to the overnight highs for me to think that, hey, maybe somebody's front running it and wants to sell it off. So especially with how I've been managing the other trades and been losing out on them, I don't want to do that. So if we wick test the bottom here again, rotate through, I'll look to maybe possibly go long again through 90. If we fail it, then maybe we'll look to see if we could short back down through to the lows. But I think we still could possibly rotate to this overnight high level. Really, the best way I would have been able to manage this is if we had this second add on and we were off with that. I mean, that was the money move right there, right? I called this out pretty much down here. I would have loved to have gotten involved around that level. I did once, and I got stopped out for a small little win there, because of these wicks continuing to try and grab liquidity. I was trying to be a little quick on it based on price action throughout the week where it's just been V-bottoming. So, we got stopped on that. The next move was the right move. Could have got in below there, but we didn't. Fine by me. Let's see if we can get this thing to flush down a little bit lower, not make a new low, and then I could go long there. Yeah, go ahead, go potty, buddy. Go ahead. I'll come in there if you want me to. I got my youngest here. Go ahead, go.
I didn't say a shit.
Okay, go ahead.
A chocolate donut. I just said a strawberry donut.
Oh, we don't have any strawberry donuts. Go pee-pee. I'm gonna get some pasta, okay? Go pee-pee. I'm gonna get drinks. In a little bit, okay? You didn't finish your eggs, so you gotta finish your eggs. So pee-pee first and come in here. I know. All right, so we're not quite breaking to the downside quite yet. But like I said, that is part of my little divergence strategy there. If Apple could get back above this 194.50-ish level, then this could pop from here again. We are holding it. What do you need? Sorry to everybody. I'm yelling at my little guy here I'm watching him while I'm trading, so also a little bit distracted, but nothing that I can't overcome. Getting a little whippy here, not making new highs on Delta, sort of getting a little heavy. Tilt is a little bit heavy long, not quite, so if we do break down here, we could get that flush again. So, but S&P's is pushing up. So S&P's is pushing up. Maximus, don't touch the donuts. What are you doing? What? For what? Sorry, everybody, yelling in the camera, in the microphone. It is heavy here. I think this thing wants to break. I want to sell that there. All right, I'll give it to you in 1 minute. Here you go. Here you go. It's back on. water? Okay, I'll be back again in a second. All right, let's see if this thing will fail now, or if it's just grabbing more liquidity to push us up further. S&Ps did break that pre-high there, but it's now not quite playing along. I think maybe we're going to be in a rotational day. We're so close to that overnight high that I think somebody might be front running it with that wick. There's a reason I got out at that level there, and now there's a reason why I would possibly want to be involved on a short here. I do have my entry out. I want to see this thing push down back to that 569 level if it's going to short. Look at Apple. Apple is really struggling to hold above that 194.50. Now it's pushing. Now we're getting that confluence, and now you're getting that run up. So that sort of invalidates the move. Microsoft and NVIDIA. NVIDIA's stalling out. Microsoft wicking highs, and Apple looked to push above it. It wicked above it, and then it's sitting right there at 194.50. So the NASDAQ looking to make highs. S&P's pushing highs. Let's see what it does. With these wicks, that's telling me a little bit of something. At 600, 600 is a pretty key level psychologically, right? Yesterday at the end of the day, you whipped up, and then you played with 600 a bunch, and then you rotated down after close, right before the market totally closed, and then on close, it just continued to roll over in that overnight session. So look for 600 to be some sort of point to play with here. Look at this thing. Doesn't want to hold. I want to think that 600 fails, then we rotate to the downside. I don't want to be involved there. I want to be involved here. And I want this thing to rotate down. Overnight high. That'll be the stop. I didn't want to get involved down here, because if that's where they grab some more liquidity to push us to the high side, if we break down from 600 here, that's really what I'm looking at. S&P's is pushing highs, so I want to maybe get this thing super tight and only limit my risk really, really, really tight here, because our little extension above 600 should probably pop us. It's momentum. I'm really just trying to fade the extremes. Like I said, that's my main strategy all the time. So look to see if this thing will break 600 here. I just was sort of feeling the heaviness on it. S&P's pushing highs. I want to get out of this thing. No, there we go. Come on, fail. We're just grinding with the delta. It's not really congruent here. It's starting to push up a little bit, but not like you would want to at a significant key price point. If it does break there, I'm going to move my stop to there. I know it's probably more likely to get wicked there, but I don't want to get blown out at the overnight highs. If this is going to be a lower high here, then that's going to add to our confluence. We shouldn't get stopped out then. Let's see if we can break the low of 585 if it does push down. If not, then this is just like a little bull flag thing that's just going to break out, and then we're going to get stopped out anyway. So just want to see if this will take us to the downside one more time, but it doesn't look like it. It looks like they're going to keep rallying. Apple, holding above that 50. S&Ps is pushing highs and rallying, so we should get stopped out here, and then we're going to see what happens from there. But if this is going to be a lower, like I said, if it's going to be a lower high, then it shouldn't stop us out. But it looks like it's going to whip us up and then possibly look to come back down from there. So I want to get out quicker, take that 150 loss, and then if it does roll over, then be involved again on the flush down. Yes, I might lose 150, but then on a good flush down, I'll be making well more than that and be able to cover my losses and then possibly add to a trade, right? So this not breaking above yet is interesting to me. So hopefully that's more of a confluence. Our stop's right at the right spot, right? It seems like there's a wall there. If it decides to break above that, it's gonna rip. You're gonna lose more money, so you might as well get out right there, cut that loss. I didn't panic out yet. I mean, it's really kind of just sitting on this level, and I don't like that. With the S&P still pushing on highs and Apple trying to hold that 194.50 level, I don't like this thing to really play along. Microsoft, like just sitting at the highs here. We're really waiting to see what kind of decision it's going to make. Like I said, my stop's in a fine spot. If I get stopped out for 150, I'm okay with it. I'm willing to take that risk to see if this thing is going to take the chance and fall off the table right here. I need this to kind of do it soon, or else I need to get out and be done. Delta just grinding, but no little pop. Nothing popping us off here. I would like to see that Delta go red. That would be nice, but this looks like it wants to continue on. Just grabbing all this liquidity here, though. We didn't get like a whippy move besides that one candle where I got out on my long. The stalling of this makes me want it to go short and front. Like I said, front running the overnight high as a level because I haven't been doing that, and prices just run away from me. So that's really what I've been doing of late to try and front run my orders a bit to get involved in the ones that I should have been involved in. But we're looking like, prices just wants to grind to the high side here. So we're probably going to get stopped on this right now. And like I kept saying, we're probably going to get stopped, Our stop is in a great spot for this to not. But if it does break here, it's going to break the high. And then we're going to be happy that we only lost 150 instead of 250 and 350, right? So there we go. We're flat. Still looking to see this thing maybe whip that high and fail. But S&P's is breaking highs. Carrying us up. Microsoft also carrying us up. Apple just not wanting to play with that 50 level. I will take another shot short at 6. Below 6. If we do that. Come on. I hate this when it does this. Flatten that. Sometimes it's like stuck. The order gets stuck and I don't like that. That technically cleaned up the overnight high right there, I guess. We ticked it to the tick. Let's see if we did get a little bit of a delta push there. So now that breakout is probably in play. Let's see if it continues on up. Apple pushing, Microsoft also breaking highs and moving on up. Nvidia. If we fail this overnight high, I like that. All that chop there, maybe we can get a flush of it. Okay, we're involved in short here now, seeing if we can get this thing to reject that high. Come on now. Be that tweezer top. Tweezer tops, roll over. Then you got to flush 600. If we can flush 600, we got an add there. We'll be at break even on the first. We'll see if we can get the add off at the high of the value area high. If this does break out again, this could be a good breakout trade to the upside. So just be mindful of that. There is room above here, but this is that overnight high. Like to fade that extreme. Like to kind of play with these levels. See what we can do from here. I like this as a short from this high. I'm sure other people like this as a short from a high as well. Just from cleaning up the overnight high. If we can get an add on here, it'd be fantastic. We could possibly look to, like I said, take it all the way down to that previous session low. That was that initial breakout point. I don't know if we'll get all the way there with our trail, but if we can get that one off down below at the high of the value area high, that'd be great. So if we could flush here, that would be the key here. So we're not making new highs on Delta. Price is trying to push up, so we're still good on our position. Nothing telling us to get out yet. Nothing not telling us to trail down and be tight on this. I want to see this thing flush. If it flushes 600, that's a key psychological level. There should be stops there. Should run and flush down even further. So if we add, like I said, if we get that add on, we are going to move our stop to break even here, and then we're going to it's break even on the first, right? And then the second add will be at that entry point, right? You don't want to risk more than that initial risk, even when you add, especially when you add, I should say. Come on, baby. Give me that delta divergence, roll over. Price trying to push. If it needs to fail that if it gets up to 611.50 again and then fails again, then maybe we put the add below this wick here, below, just front run 600 a bit. So if we do get a flush of 600, then we can potentially look to get in for, you know what, I'm going to leave my add where it is, just below 600, 598. So we don't get ticked in at 600 if it wants to sit there and run to the high side. So we are trying to push highs. We do have a delta push a little bit, but price is not behaving. So let's see if we can get this thing to now push down purely based on price action and the overnight high level. I'm not looking at any other confluences at the moment. Here we go. It's pushing. Should reject here. If it doesn't reject, we're going to be out. Looks like it's going to be a good long. There it is. There we go. We're out. Once again, back down. Confluences didn't play, so we had to take the shot at the overnight high. That's just our strategy here. So now everything is pushing to the high side. This should be a clean breakout. Like I said, the Apple's not playing along, not really wanting to hold above that level there. So if you do get a failure again, let's see if we can do it. 956. We're waiting for that 10 o'clock hour to flush us. Maybe that 621 level will be a key here to be where that stop should have been. I'm going to look to see a failure of this, right? Like, again, we'll look to see that thing fail and fade that high there. Continue that short that spot that we hit. S&P has this all-time high here, right there. If you're looking at the 30-minute, we ticked that 49.33.25. Oh, it's actually a little higher. I don't know why it's not going there. S&P loves to play its levels, so let's see what happens on that. S&P ticked that exactly. NASDAQ never quite made it to these highs. We still have room up to here in this range there for the high side at 641.50, 640, 637, 36 area. But if we do fail this overnight high here, I want this thing to rotate back down.
Daddy,
Maximus,
I want a big card.
go ahead, go get it. You have it. Why not?
That's why you can.
Hmm. This long here was nice. Try to add if it was going to get through here and then add to the highs. That would have been nice as well. Really look to fade these overnight highs as a cleanup. That's just my strategy. I can't not take that trade. It's a cheap trade. You know, you do lose your, take that loss, but
Can you find this big car?
it's in the closet, buddy.
I can't
Still
get it.
pushing that delta higher.
No, I can't get it.
All right. No worries. I'm going to be right back. All right, everybody, give me a second.
Pick it up.
There you go, buddy.
Okay, let's drag it over here.
We got that PJS truck. Good stuff. All right, so 21 looks like it's wicking. Let's see if it'll keep pushing to the upside. S&P is still trying to push through that 933.25 level. Sitting in drawdown, still trying to grind out my day. We're one good trade away. Friday usually is a tough day for me, but we're out here. We're trying to make these trades. We are streaming live. We're seeing everything live. How to kind of manage these positions a bit. If we can get above this 21, then potentially up to 41, 641.50 will be that area there that we're going to look to possibly short. So if we do not fail this right here, we are kind of just building up in that delta. So potentially looking to still continue on to the upside.
Daddy? Daddy?
Mm-hmm.
Can I take this, this thing out of this?
Heavier longs, 70% longs here as we break these highs. Delta is congruent, should be up to 41. S&P is looking to break that high there. Everything is well onto the upside. Apple not so much, except it is holding that 50 level. Nvidia kind of wicking the high, and Microsoft also just kind of sitting there, maybe looking to push down a bit. So I want to see maybe a breakdown from here. Maybe that's the fake break. Let's see if we can fade this. Get our add below the overnight low. I was long from down here, got ticked out, got stopped, was long here, took my profit at that 80 level, and then we just got chopped a little bit right there. So we're looking to try and make this back, maybe get a little flush here at this 21 level, and then down through, if we can flush the overnight high, add a second on, take profit at the first take profit at 601, front run the 600 level, and then see if we can get that runner to push to the downside. That's really what I'm looking for here. See if this won't be a failure to the high side. See if we can get Apple to fail and Microsoft to continue on to the downside from here. If we can do that, that should be our rotation now. That was a whippy move to the downside. Hopefully now that's not a liquidity grab. It's just a bigger player, but realistically, when I see a candle like that, I'm thinking that we're probably going to get ripped our face off. I don't like when that happens, but you know what? We're going to stick at the high of the day, and if it makes new highs, it makes new highs. That's on me. I'm going to leave my stop. We're going to see if we can get this add on below the overnight high. We are a little bit lower than overnight high because we don't want to get ticked in. We will move it to break or just above 21 if we get the add on.
Daddy, where's this thing for this thing? Where's this thing for this thing and this thing for the
I don't know where that is. I don't know if we have that anymore. It's somewhere. No, we're holding.
Go up on it. And let's see.
that wick down and this hold, I don't like it, man. I don't like how that's acting. But S&P is rejecting their high. We did have Microsoft not quite making new highs, and Apple here is trying, but Microsoft now is kind of doing the opposite, and Apple is still holding it. What do you need? You gotta move his tail. Oh, his tail's not there anymore. He's gonna put his arms up. There you go. So there we go. We're pushing now down. Hopefully we could fail the overnight high as well. If we can fail the overnight high, we'll have our ad on there. We're gonna look to take one off at 601 and then have a runner to the downside. That's our goal here. If we do come above, see, we didn't want to get wicked in on our ad, so we were just below. So now we are in. We're triggered in there. If we do get above 21, then we're gonna be out. Hopefully we can continue now down, rotate to 600. My ads have kind of gotten me in trouble this today a bit, but I don't want to not take the chance. And I have a risk-free trade here, so who cares? If it's gonna flush now, it's gonna flush. 605 is a pretty key level. The overnight high, I want to fail it, and I want to fail it hard. I want it to continue to the downside. I want there to be stops here. It's not quite going, but there we go. That's a better move there. That's a little bit faster price action. Hopefully our ad can stay good. If not, no big deal. We are break even. Should not revisit the highs if we're gonna do what I expect. We should not revisit the highs. We should not even break above the overnight high again. So we should get this flush here. Our stop is going to be above that overnight high. Because if we do just grab some liquidity here at 605 and run to the high side, then we're going to get stopped out. And I don't want to give back a ton on this. So we're above the overnight high. Hopefully we can get filled on this. All right. If we can't, I'm going to just take the ad off. And that'll be the one that we take off. You see that liquidity grab at 605. There's a lot of volume at 605. Big volume candles there. We need to break through that 605 level, but that's really the key line in the sand there. We may just get stopped out here. However, we're still, like I said, we're in profit. It's a free trade. We're just gonna get ticked. I don't want to get ticked out, but hey, you know what? We're in this. We're gonna let it happen. Let that first contract come off if we can get through 605. If we can't, then we're gonna rally to the high side again. So if we get through 605, that's why I want to take that first one off. You know what? I'm gonna front run it. We should have probably been there to begin with. I'll take that one off there if it does come to that level. Yeah, 1 minute. I'm in a trade, okay? And then I'll get it, okay? Deal? Yeah, I'll come with you in a minute. I gotta just manage this trade, okay? I got my little guy in here trying to... Okay, we got one off. There we go. We got one contract off. This is a risk-free trade now. We're gonna keep the stop at overnight highs and see how far we can take this to the downside. We just broke 600. I heard you, buddy. Thank you. Just let me finish this trade, okay? All right, so we flushed 600. We were gonna add there, right? Before we have our stop at break even for the ad. So realistically, we're gonna try and let this thing flush a bit. Hopefully, get to that 592, that overnight. I mean that value area high. But you see how that's a liquidity grab, push well down below 600, and now trying to hold above it. If we get ticked out here, I'm okay with that. I'm not trying to have this thing fucking rip my face off and go to the high side. However, if it does continue to melt, it should keep doing it. And we should be able to hold this thing. If it does get and hold below 600 before stopping us out, we should be able to hold it. If we get to the value area high and push down through that, we'll be happy. That's really what I'm trying to get out of this. Really, when I get these ads, I'm looking to get the thing to move a little bit quicker. That looked like more of a liquidity grab through 600, 605, and now we're going to push back to the high side. So I'm fine with that being out. You saw that wick just right straight to the overnight high. That grabbed some stops, and that was a very interesting grab there, right? So I secured at least that break even. Looks like it might want to continue on up now. So we're still one good trade away. We were able to take the short from that high there. We had a second ad, so we took about 325 off there, and we were break even on the second on the ad, just based on this whippy price action there. I did have my original take profit for the first contract down at 601, so $50 more. I'm cool with the way the price action was acting at 605. I wanted to be involved if it was going to flush there. So that was good. That was a great trade there. I'm pretty happy with that. Being able to get involved, seeing the price action at the highs kind of slowing down. All right, so now we did not fail down. We are now looking to kind of build that momentum through that overnight high. See if that'll continue on up through here, or if we're going to fail it now that we have grabbed some liquidity again. So Apple is still sitting at that 50, Microsoft just ranging, and NVIDIA also just sitting there, right? So I might set one order on the ad. Oh, you should redo it. $6.15. Do we fail it again? Do we add there? So on the combine, I'm up 350. On the express funded, I'm down 350 because 450 because I added a couple losses before I started my copier. So good for the combine. Getting ever closer to having a second funded account here with Top Step. I'm at 51,923. The target's 3,000, so I'm just about 1,000 away from that target on that other account. Looking to see if this will fail because we did not make new highs. We're trying to make new highs again. Didn't get there. We do have, like I said, room to that 41. This liquidity zone there, that yellow box, is still a potential target. Could be a good short area as well. So we're just going to be mindful of that. If we don't make a new high here and we do a little bit of a double top, not quite a double top that, standard people think of a double top with the wick and all that stuff, but just being here and then maybe getting that secondary divergence. So I got one divergence, right? I got a lower high. I got a lower high on Delta. If I get another shorter time frame, same thing, failure from there, could short it from there again. But I do have a short below the overnight high, so if it does want to come in and get me involved, I will be involved on that one there. It's going to be below that level there because I don't want to be exactly at 611.50. So if we come back up here, make another little wick off top, fail that 21, I'm going to set my first entry where I had it before and just kind of keep playing with this level until it doesn't work. If you are so inclined, there we go, looking like we're going to push down again, but just grabbing some liquidity maybe. I didn't get ticked in. That's why I moved the stop down, because I felt like if it does get to that point, it's just going to grab some people to push the highs one more time. But if it does fail hard, we're going to look to see if we could keep this thing for maybe a little bit more of a move to the downside, but be mindful of that 600 to 605 liquidity zone there. I'm in short. We're seeing if this will flush that overnight high once again with that delta divergence, with that divergence here, sort of double toppy. I wanted to be involved up here if we got another little test of it. We didn't. I have my order set here just in case we did what we're doing now and got me involved. I need to flush 605. If we can get through 605 pretty easily, that means that buyer has kind of disappeared. And then down to 600. 600 obviously was that little wick there, that liquidity grab. So 605, first line in the sand. Looks like we're breaking it. So I'm going to put my break even there. Looking to see if we can get this thing to really play along. If not, it's just going to be a liquidity grab again at 605 and push us up. So I might you know what? No, we're going to play above the high. If it gets above the high, we'll take that loss. I don't want to be just ticked out on a little bounce off of 605. If it's like a strong wick like this, if I notice that it's just a grab, then I'm going to take it off. We'll move to break even quicker. But until that happens, I'm going to just be mindful of it, watch this overnight high, see if we can hold it. If we don't, then this should run up to the highs again, and then we'll look to short from the high, which where I wanted to get short from. I just kind of got involved here just because if we did fail that overnight high again, we probably should just rotate to the downside again. Really, in a grand scheme of things, that should be the stop, right? You shouldn't make new highs. I don't want to risk that much. I have that there now just kind of showing you, like, if you're trying to manage this position correctly, where you're not as tight with your stops as I am, where I look to mitigate risk kind of quickly. I look to try and take paper cuts until I can catch the mover that I want to get, which we're kind of getting now, right? So if we're at break even, so we're up basically 1-to-1 on my risk here. So if we fail this spot, then I'm cool with losing that because that's what I'm willing to risk. But now if we definitely get down to that value area high, I'm going to be very mindful. I'm going to set my stop above 605, and I'm going to just wait and see what happens, right? I don't want to lose on a hard bounce from 600. So 605, I'm trying to take some of my money back from the losses earlier. This is a key spot. Nope. I'm going to be at break even, just below break even. Just cover my fees here. I need 605 to hold so we can flush the bottom. Get to 600, get through 600. If we can get through 600, we should hopefully get to the liquidity zone here. Then we're going to be mindful of that liquidity zone, right? So we are through 600 now. We're looking to continue to flush. Now that we're through 600, I got to put my stop just above 605, 605.50. If we get wicked out, we get wicked out, so be it. I'm trying to be very mindful of my stops here, of securing my wins as I have them. If we can continue to flush down, S&P's is now pushing. We got that liquidity grab, divergence type thing. We got some shorts involved. We stopped them out. So this move to the downside should happen. Now, if it's going to happen. If it's not going to happen, if we're just going to range around at the top here, then so be it. And then we'll get stopped out and we'll be fine with it. Apple is not holding that 194.50 level, right? So trying to break down below that 194.37 is going to be the real driver, right? If it does want to go and flush lower, then it should continue. But right now we're in that like bull flag for all these Magnificent Seven type names, right? We're back above 600, playing with 600. There are stops there, I'm sure. All right, so we're probably gonna get stopped out if it does hold above 6. Can't be mad at that. We're looking to try and maximize our potential profit on this. So if we do hold below 600, then we should continue to flush, right? That's what we're looking at here. We're not looking to just secure a profit. I'm not like a take profit. They hit my take profits. I'm looking to try and trail out. I will get wicked out on stops. I'll get wicked out on, trailing stops. But at the end of the day, sometimes, that one good trade where you can trail this thing down, if you do get that true break to the downside, to continue to trail it out and maximize your gains. And just going purely based on feel, price action, understanding speed of the markets, like watching this DOM, watching the price action speed up and slow down. 605, like I said, is the line in the sand for me. If it does break above it, then it's probably going to continue on to the upside. You could see that there was a big seller there. It's sped up. It's pushing to the downside. There's liquidity grabbing there. So if it does break above here, it'll probably break with gusto. But if it sells off now, it should, like that speed up, that liquidity grab there usually keeps us moving the momentum in the other direction. So another like confluence to our short, kind of staying involved, holding it, if we break this wick to the high side, that means that seller disappeared, and then we're going to be out anyway, right? So looking to see if this thing will continue to the downside. Our wick pretty much is at the right spot. It looks like it's going to grab it. There it goes. See that pop right through it. Did not hold it, so we could probably rotate up. You see that nice. Now that was a pretty whippy candle there. That could be looking to grab some orders to short. So just be mindful of that as well. Still down for. This Express account of 69969, we're up 400 on that account. So we're looking, like I said, looking for one good trade here where we're managing these ones well. We're getting good entries. We have good reasons behind it. So if we do pop above 611, maybe expect it to rotate again to these highs. Yeah, I'm gonna try that real quick long. Just a quick one. Give it a chance, because that failure of 605, the liquidity grab at 600 being a value area high. The overnight high was like that key line in the sand, so if we could break it again here, then I'm trying to just front run that little breakout. Bull flags, bull flags, bull flags. Failed breakdown, looking to hold the breakdown, and Apple looking to just not break 94.50. Friday action for me. Couple of early mistakes, which is why we're down 4 on this one and up 4 on the other one. We've made good decisions since, obviously, because we're up 400 on that other account. So it's just those first few trades of the day. So here's that actual true move to the downside, it seems. A little wick down. That's 600 to 605, right? I said that. This right here is a liquidity zone, so it needs to break through there to really be a true break. But we're diminishing on Delta. Price is diminishing. But we're not really making new lows in the Delta as we're trying to make new lows. So if we do pop here, I think that will be another good little bullish pop. Hopefully get us up to 41s. On the long side, I don't add as much. Apple failing that 50 level so many times. Like at some point, that's got to break to the downside, right? Do we hold 600 and 605? If this seems like it's going to pop to you, it seems like it's going to pop to me. Slow markets tend to pop, especially on Fridays. That was what's always getting me in trouble. So we're looking to kind of grind this thing here. Maybe we can get a quick back to break even. You know, like I said, 400, 500 there to that 41 level would be the ideal take profit if that's where we end up going with this. I don't like to add, but I think that that's a good spot right there. We take one off at the high. Let one run. Data latency is kind of fucking up, so just be mindful of that as well. Can we crack this and be a momentum play here? It does look like it wants to break above and continue on. Let's see if we can keep clicking the wrong button. You were watching that? Oh no. Apple, come on, baby. Play along. Break above 194.50.
Daddy, can I pause this?
You want to pause it?
Yeah.
No, you got it. One touch. There you go. Good job. If this is going to fail here, then that's so be it. You know, I shot my shot at a breakout long here. Through the overnight high, failure of breaking down. The failed breakdown of 600 and 605 to me just really convinced me that possibly we're going to look to push to the upside one more time before actually making a true break to the downside. Apple has just been consolidating so much, and I'm waiting for it to fall off the table, to be honest with you.
Daddy, I want you to turn this off. I don't want to watch it.
Okay, you don't want to watch this anymore? So we're probably going to get stopped out here. There we go, pushing down to 605. Wick this out. We're done on that one. Still looking at this thing to break out if it does hold. But Apple just wants to be heavy here. It just doesn't want to hold it. These slow markets on Fridays tend to get us choppy. Do we break out this time? Ooh. Apple just doesn't want to break down, man. It holds it and then it doesn't. It holds it and then it doesn't. It's really been kind of leaving us in this little limbo. Oh, that's not what I want. APL. Apple. Second try at it. Looking to push that high. I'm going to maybe add above there. And then stop right below over that high, and then really be tight with that trail. Can we get this thing to break here? Break above, rip above that all overnight high, and give us that one more push that we so desperately want. Come on, baby. You want to rip city, baby. Rip city. Get up to the highs. Let's get to that 41 level. If we can break this, like I said, I have another ad right above it because that should pop that momentum. I have a stop to, I have a limit order at the top there at 21.75 to take that first contract off. If we do hold this overnight high, like I said, we should get that little bit of a momentum play. Just like one more push up to the high side. Not looking for a huge move, but trying to capitalize on this type of price action here. So if that's just a liquidity grab, then so be it. We're out. But it looks like it wants to continue to push. So that's where we're at right there. We're probably going to get an ad here. All right, we're going to get an ad there. That's the ad, and then the immediate grab right back down. So that's a very interesting thing to happen at that price point there. We definitely don't want that. There we go. We got the stops together. Now, I try to get my stops to be together so I can move them a bit better. But we're looking to see if this thing will now kind of continue its momentum to the upside, or if this is just going to be a liquidity grab and melt us off. Does Apple play along? Yes, it's looking like it wants to break that 194.50. There we go. We got that pop to the upside there. See if we can get this thing up to 21.75 now that it's popped a little bit. If it doesn't, there we go. We got to move. There we go. Come on, baby. Get us that one off. That first contract off. It'll be nice to get that first one off. Like I said, I'm gonna leave my stop below that level there because 605 was that line in the sand. But if we do return to it, then it is, shit happens. It is what it is. We're looking to get that 21.75 level to be touched one more time. Get that first contract off. Get us back into this trading day. And see if we could trail the ad up to highs, like up to 41s, right? The 41s is that ultimate target there. And we got a crying baby here. What happened? Oh, it's stuck? All right. There we go. His toy was stuck. I had to unstuck it. So we are continuing here. We do have that pressure. It doesn't seem to want to sell off quite yet. I'm going to be a little bit tight with the ad. If we can get up there. Come on, baby. Rotate all the way to those highs. Make us new highs. You know you want to. Let's go. That breakout there should be the one that takes us to at least 21.75 again to grab some of that liquidity. If we can grab that liquidity, we'll take one off. So that'll give us a little bit of a secured profit. That'll take off half of our position, and then we have one for a runner. if we can continue on up. Hopefully this is not the high end of this little range. Yeah, I'm managing. Oh, you're coming over here? Come on up. Come on up. We got the little guy here trying to be a good luck charm for this trade, but looks like it's kind of flooding around this level here at 617. So be mindful of that. Looking to get up there. Hopefully we can keep pushing. We got to push the high here. Push the high, push the high, push the high, push the high.
Where's that guy?
That's me.
Oh.
Oh yeah. Okay, keep going. We're failing the level again. Delta divergence, pushing to the downside. We're leaving our stop here. If we do flush the overnight high, then we're probably going to rotate all the way back down. So that's the failed breakout possibly happening right here, right now. We're looking to maybe be stopped out on this and be done. Oh, right. That's a really nice whippy downside candle. Failed breakouts to the upside. So that usually the failed breakouts, the sells come in hard and come in fast. There we go. And Max is not good luck. Max is bad luck at this point. So he's out. Got him playing along. 10:30. Another ad getting me in trouble there. Because really we were in. Oh, that's it. Let's do this. One more time. Was that a liquidity grab? That's a big grab down there. 1330. We went from we gave back 400 right there. That's not a good deal for that contract. Okay, Max, playing with all these things. We're trying to trade and watch our kids at the same time. Welcome to parent life. Failed breakout again. Looking to rotate to the downside. Maybe not. Maybe we'll get a secondary contract on here. Like I said, ads before, we're getting in trouble, but we're going to give it a shot again. We're going to be a tight little stop on this one. A little 18 ticks, 20 ticks on that one. If it does come back up and wick us in, we're going to look to take profit up there, like I said, at those highs. We never quite got the follow through we wanted to see, so Max, you got to stop jumping around so we can focus here, okay?
Is that a man with a hat on?
That's a man with a hat. That's Daddy with a hat, yeah.
With a man.
Sometimes you got to stream and make some trades and do it with a kid in your lap. Sometimes you got to end the week. It's a tough week for me. I really had a rough go at it this week. Been trying to be more aggressive yesterday and today. Yesterday we were good. We were up 770. Today down around that same amount. If we can get this add on right now, maybe we'll be able to make some of that back and have a kid's hand in your face doing it. Yeah. So we need the Apple bull flag here to kind of break out to the upside. And that'll really carry us. Don't play with the microphone. You're good.
Let go.
Yes, exactly.
Where's that guy in?
That's Daddy.
Oh.
Is the phone ringing?
Yeah.
Wow, that's a big move to the downside there. It was a very whippy. Maybe it was a liquidity grab. Maybe we're going to now pop to the upside and grab it. Or if this is going to sell off here, then that little wick there. Oh, that's a big push there. So maybe this now pushes to the high side. 1030 number or something that I wasn't expecting, because now we're getting some whippy action here. We may get triggered into this new ad here, but we are just going to sit and draw down on this trade, looking to add a second contract. Stop fighting. That's gross.
I'm just doing this.
Yeah, I can see. No. There we go. Pushing to the upside. Look at that. There we go. See if we can get the follow through that we were looking for before. Looking to break this high, get to 621, take that first contract off, and then be risk-free on the rest of the trade. Oh my gosh. You see that candle there? That was very manipulative. There's a big seller up there. Holy shit. Stop, Max. Hopefully we can get now through that. If that was just some sort of manipulation or a liquidity grab, I don't want to be too risked on for that kind of move to the downside, if that's what that's going to be. Max, stop grabbing the microphone. I really think that 621 needs to be tagged. Okay, pushing up to the upside. There we go. We're break even on the trade. We're looking to see if this breaks that high now. If it could break that 21, then we should get a breakout continuation to the high of the day. Let's see what happens. I can't have this guy grabbing on my microphone at the same time I'm managing a position. Didn't get triggered out on that first contract. We are at break even, so we are just letting this thing do its thing. Stop touching the microphone, okay? There we go. Still trying to break out here. Come on, baby. Let's break that high. Just grab some of that liquidity above 21. At least get us out of that one position and then leave that one risk-free runner on. If not, it looks like we're going to fail here. Price is speeding up. This looks like it does want to get to the high side. It's not quite breaking down. A lot of that liquidity is pushing us up to the high side. So push through that 21 level. Come on, baby. There we go. We got one off. So we now have one off. We're risk-free on this trade. We're going to take one of these stops away because I don't want to get stopped into an order. But let's see if we can break the high of the day. If we can break the high of the day, we should get up to 41s, the 41 level, 41.50, or even 39.25 is really what I'm looking at. So hopefully we could break and hold above 21s and continue on to the upside. Really, this could be the trade of the day that helps us get out of this hole, but it needs to play along through the 21s. So if not, if it fails, then we're stopped out of break even. We at least secured a portion of those profits, right? There's another attempt to break through 21.75. Could this part of the breakout actually carry us through? We'll see. Apple needs to get above 94.50 for it to continue to carry on. That 21 level is a huge sell spot for me as well. Hopefully it does not take us out. It does. We are flat on that position. We're up 85 there. Down 720 on this beautiful Friday here. Give me 1 minute. I'm going to check on the other little guy. Where'd you go, Max? You want to play magnets in there? Okay, get cards. Get cards. What? Okay, I'm coming. Where's the cars at? All right. We are back in action. Let's see what happens. We do have this failure there, so we can possibly look to short the low here. Another failed top side on that, and we are short now. There you go. That's fine. There you go. There you go. Apple's just not playing along to the high side. I'm looking to see if this will play now to the short side. If we can break through some of these levels here, we could flush this. We could take profit down here, and then we'll get a stop above that as well. So we're adding on second contract if we do flush through here. You had a donut, silly guy. Okay, we're in on 2. See if that's a liquidity grab or if we're going to get taken to the downside here now. Looks like it's going to our levels pretty well here. We're moving. I got to take this thing down to, I only want to risk to the high end of that candle there. So if we do, I don't know what that is. I can't deal with a phone call at the moment. Hopefully now, there we go. We're going to take one off possibly there. Looking to move the break even on that now. Up to 2 and change on it. That 605 level still acting. I should have probably set an order there as the take profit, but I'm not mad if this does take where we are. There we go. We're going to get one off. We got one off there. Cool beans. Now we are at break even on that candle. So let's see how low can we go. How low can we go? That's what we're looking to see here. We're looking to see if we can crack this low now. Here we go. We're getting a good flush. We're going to go to our 604.75, 605 level as our break even, as our trail. We're going to try our best here to cut it up, buddy. Max is a little angry. We are flushing now. Let's see if we can continue down to the downside. There we go. There's the push down that we wanted to see. Oh, baby. Let's go. Let's go. Good flush. Here we go. We are floating in the profits here. Auto centering, we're up 435. Not trading P&L here. We're trading the pure price momentum, and I don't want to give back a lot. That close there is a good idea. Like, we're in a liquidity zone here. This is a pretty important level. So if we do, okay, Max, I'll be right there. Mommy's gonna be home soon. So once mommy gets home, then daddy can stream a little longer. I usually go to 11, but today we might go a little longer. I'm looking for a flush of this zone. If this zone can hold this, I'm gonna go candle to candle now. Going to take the top end of that. If this, grabs liquidity here and runs up, then it does what it does. That's fine. If we do get back into that opening range, that red line there, that 569, that's going to be a pretty important level there. What's up, Max? We did take that short there. We added that second. Thank you, YB Trades. I appreciate it. We've been grinding out today. We're looking to see if we can continue this flush to the downside. I like this rotation from the overnight high down to maybe even the previous session low. If you get the full rotation like you did yesterday, you may get down to the overnight low. So you manage the position how you feel fit. I get a little tight on my trail, so I don't normally catch that whole big, long move. I try to catch a portion of the big move. Nothing here is telling me yet that this thing wants to reverse. I don't have like a good liquidity grab or anything like that. The next idea here is 580 as like I said, that close from yesterday, where market like totally closed after the bell. So let's just be mindful of this liquidity zone. See if it can hold. See if it can act as resistance on the way down. I'm gonna try and be a little bit loose with my risk, and then see if I can kind of maximize this sell side push, because usually when we push like this down on a Friday or any day really, when you fail highs, you get the actual true move to the downside. But now it's acting as some sort of support here. You're gonna get a bit of a bounce. If we get all the way back up into that area, I don't want to give back more than that, so I'll take that profit there. But hopefully we can flush still through back down, use this as a liquidity zone, and rotate down. Anybody looking to take a short, possibly look to short down below through here to continue this down to the downside, but really be mindful of that opening range high. S&P's grab liquidity at 49.2450, so also be mindful of that. If it does bounce, then it could carry us because it has been all week. Let's get it, YB. Let's go, dude. Hopefully we can rotate down. Like I said, nothing totally telling me that this is a great place to get out, really. Hopefully it acts as a resistance here. As a resistance level and continues to push down. So there we are. Hopefully we can now flush this low. If we do flush this low, I may move my stop just above this candle here, because if it does whip above that, I'm probably going to get stopped out anyway. So we're looking like we want to push below that. We are. So that top tick of that candle will be my stop. 590, there it goes. We're wicking that candle there. That's a high volume spot. Price wants to get there. I'm going to trail now a little bit tighter. If we flush 80s, hopefully we rotate, continue down, like I said, to that opening range high. But that'll put us negative, right? Opening range high. That puts us, oh, actually not really. The down here, the opening range low, we will open and we came right back to the top. Gotta love those. Gotta love those VWAP dip buys on some of those plays. I use VWAP as targets a lot of times. So like right now, if we do get all the way down to VWAP, that's when I start to get really, really tight on my trail. I'm trying to be a little loose with it. This volume node is concerning to me. That 580, that was the close yesterday. We kind of cleaned it up a bit. So that's why I trailed above that 590. I'll give back 10 points on there. Really trying to be smart with this, breathing through it. Giving that a little bit of a breather We need that down to 570-ish. Like, yeah, right there. Still pressure to the downside. Nothing crazy. I don't have any I don't have my level 2s. Like I said, I've been meaning to buy it from Top Step. I had it on my other personal brokerage, but I stopped paying for it because I didn't want to have two things running at once. Wanted to get my focus back and really grind it out. So one account at a time, right? So I may look to get the level 2s from Top Step soon, but I gotta be mindful of costs and stuff on like how many accounts and whatnot, because right now I'm looking to get the this other account funded. I'm at 52, up 740 on that other account. Actually, I'm at 52, 296, 300. So if this plays out well, like I'm all pretty close to getting funded on a 50K account while I'm running a trade copier here on the 100K express funded. So I'm funded on this account. That's what we're trading here, and we're just running a combine here. I'm gonna secure a little bit more here because I get nervous at this 80 level. I don't want to give back much more than that. Realistically, could I let it breathe and let it continue to run down to the lows? I could. Hello, yes sir, thank you. I'm glad you took a little piece of that. Good shit. Attaboy, Ray. 80s always bothers me. Especially with a high volume node there and the close of the day. I feel like we could get a bounce here, and I don't want to give back much more than that. So really, if we do come above these candles, I'll take that profit and run. If we flush the lows, then I'm going to start to trail above that 80 level as my take profit, and just kind of, like I said, I get very tight with my trails as I see price to slow down. Hell yeah, well, let's do it soon, YB. I'm happy you got that, made some of that profit back from the morning. I would love to stream with you, do a dual trade stream. I appreciate you stopping by here and checking out. Just trying to manage this trade here, being mindful of it while also communicating with the chat. There's a lot of moving parts when you are a streamer. You try to communicate, you try to be good with everything. So that grab, yeah, so we're out. I'm cool with that. That was a hell of a trade as far as calling out the top on there, taking the short, taking the ad, and running it down. And like I said, if we got stopped out here, we were probably going to get stopped out at the high of this liquidity zone after a bounce of 80. You're never going to catch the bottom tick. I mean, you might, here and there, but realistically, I'm happy with taking that kind of profit on that. So we were up 700 on the express funded. On the eval account here. So we're at 52,239. So we only need about 700 and change to get funded on that account. And today we're only down 100. So we're looking for one more good after that drawdown, right? That last trade right there netted us 700. Obviously we were drawn down about 8. So really happy with that. Like I said, I'm willing to take some of these paper cuts, right, on the way up where I'm at to really catch some of the moves that I'm looking to catch that play out, right? Because I'm taking my shots, taking my break evens, and then these ones will cancel out all those, and then hopefully I could run two, 3 of them in a row, and then that makes your day, right? Reasonably, I want to not be down on the day. We're one good trade away from being green, so let's just be patient with it, not really rush in. But S&Ps are flushing that 49.24, so if we do crack this 80 level, we could probably get that quick push down to VWAP. So I may look to just re-enter, get in, get out kind of deal below the 80s. But if it does make our divergence here, then we possibly could bounce. Oh, mommy's home. Yeah. Mommy's home. Go give mommy a hug. All right. We're still here, still streaming, still live. We're going to stay here until 11:15, maybe 11:30 today. All right, so we are getting a little bit of divergence here. Could get a bounce from this level. Our liquidity zones have been acting really, really good based on what I've been drawing out these past weeks. I hope you're able to use my levels to your advantage. After that good trade there, I'm going to look to get one more good one and go from there and see what happens. So I can't make more than 1,500 on the eval account, and otherwise it's more than 50%. So I would love to get that problem to have that problem today. So let's see. I want maybe one more wick above the high, and then we're not making a new high on Delta, so we could get that Delta divergence short play again from the top end of this, right? So I want to see it maybe pop that, and then we can get a short re-enter, and then try and take it down to here, get a quick base hit on it, and maybe we can even get lucky and flush that 80 level one time. But that's just if we do get above the liquidity zone and then fail to come back down. Because if we do that, then I can possibly limit my risk pretty good there. So like I said, I want to pop above 90 up to about like 92, maybe get some people involved long right there. And then I want to get my short in here. Yeah, there we go. So I have a sell stop there. I want people to be faked into a long because realistically we're trying to go long, make new highs here, but our delta's not quite playing along. It's trying to a little bit, but not quite. Maybe get some longs involved there. Short us through that level and get us back to 80s one more time. But like I said, that 80 level was pretty significant, so it held us up. That was a great, I'd say that trade was, we maximized as much as we could out of it when it came to taking the profit there down at the bottom, trailing our stop. You know, I talked out why I trailed my stop the way I did. Apple breaking, obviously finally breaking. You know, I've been waiting for this all day to break to the downside. We've rotated right down to pre-market levels that were pretty significant here. We need to see if it'll get down to 193. This bounce is pretty significant. Right to value area high at 17,600. So watch for a delta divergence there as well. If you can push up a second time, maybe wick up 600 one more time, you could probably get another failure and rotate, continue to the downside. But we are just being mindful of that. Really could just be a bounce and then a continuation. Microsoft is pushing us to the high side, and Nvidia is rotating. So overall, like the last few trades, for a grinding week, I was down pretty good. I would love to be back to above break even. That one day on Wednesday really kind of killed my momentum, but I'm really trying to grind it back out. Tuesday was okay. We drew down to about 1,200, 1,300. We worked our way back to being positive. On Wednesday, we shit the bed and kind of kept avoiding entries and then took some less than superior entries. How was breakfast? It was good? You have fun? Awesome. Yeah, I'm one good trade away from doing good today. So we water. The great assistant coming in. I appreciate everybody sticking around on a Friday. You know, I love trading. I love being here. I love trying to get involved in stuff. I gotta take this order off. I don't want this to be here right now. So we did a really good job of maximizing this trade, getting involved in this short after we see that this failed breakout happened. We actually did a good job here too, taking one off on the long and getting stopped out at break even and recognizing that was a failed breakout and then using that and flipping our bias to rotate us down to the downside because Apple finally played along, right? Now, we could get this now here again if we can get one more push to the high side, a little bit of a divergence again where we make this. Could it be like we had earlier where we did a failed breakdown, right? We failed breakdown, rotate to the high side. Do we do it again? Another failed breakdown, grab some liquidity, rotate through to the highs. That's very similar to what happened here this morning, right? Chop, 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 chop down. Fail the breakdown at a key level and then rotate back to the high side. Right here, chop, 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 chop. Fail breakdown, get to the liquidity. Water's fine. And then all right, so let's just see. Now we're kind of just waiting. 10:52. Still got some time here. I do like the heaviness of this market to continue to sell off a bit. Really, like, I have no reason to be at all-time highs. Apple is now making that secondary try to break down, and if Microsoft's not breaking out the highs, it is breaking out the highs, so it's kind of like holding us up there, right? Microsoft's breaking out the highs, Nvidia is pushing the lows, Apple is pushing the lows. So if Microsoft can play along, fail these highs, then this could also be a good reason to short here. So if we could make maybe one more push up, if Microsoft can give me a little fake head fake above, we get to that overnight high again here, and then we get that little bit of a delta divergence. We get a divergence in Apple and Microsoft, and if the leaders start to roll over again, then that's where we can possibly look to get that thing short. The S&Ps, though, are trying to hold above that previous high there at 49.2875. So it's sitting right on that high. So possibly looking to see if that'll continue to the upside as well. Like I said, the S&Ps have kind of been dragging us around a bit. Let's see. Microsoft kind of got us the head fake. We're not getting that good momentum pop, right? So if Nvidia is rolling, Apple is rolling, and Microsoft is trying to give us a head fake at the top, I want one more attempt at a high before we could take this to the downside one more time. However, a good rotation from 600 back to 80 is a reasonable idea here. But I want to see somebody, get longs involved first, right? If I can get this where people, oh, look, we're breaking all, overnight highs again, we're probably going to go long and fake them out and rotate us back down. But like I said, if you do break it and it breaks with some power, this little failed breakdown and a healthy buy back up could push us through the highs. So these are all the things you got to think about while you're on a trade, while you're thinking about getting in or out. What keeps you in, what keeps you out? What's this FedWatch tool looking like today? We're going to refresh this. CME Fed Group, March. Pricing in at 46%. It went up to 52 yesterday. Back and forth between its 50-50, and then obviously come May, way heavier on that rate cut choice there. So just be mindful of that. Kind of just cutting through here. Microsoft gave you that head fake. Apple has tried to push lows, but is bouncing a touch, and Nvidia also kind of just rejecting that little part there. It's 613 evens or 613 quarters could be a good selling point as well for them. So, okay, Microsoft now trying to push up one more time. If we do get that, we should get this price to push up. But if it does push up and we still keep the delta down here, if we get anywhere above like 605, right? 605 has been our nemesis. Right? If you can get a little wiki action above 605, look to take that short on the fail break above. So that's what I'm looking at. So I'm looking to see if I could fail break 605 and then rotate down through 600, and I'll risk the 605-ish. Right? Yeah, there. So there's the wick through 605 up to the highs. Not quite getting that good delta push. Microsoft is breaking highs, but Apple is just bouncing there at the bottom. So we're going to keep looking at this. Maybe we can see if we can catch that one more push to the downside. Shut it down, man. Enjoy your weekend. I appreciate you coming around this week, Wilson. It's been a pleasure having you here. I'm glad you got some value out of some of my information that I provide. It was a choppy week for me, and I had one pretty crappy day that did make the week and the month a little bit more difficult. But we are not out of the game at all, or not even close. I just try to execute really good trade locations on a daily basis, and we go from there. So, Wilson, you enjoy your weekend. I will see you on Monday. Like I said, every week, every day, 8:30 a.m. Central Time, since you're Eastern Time, 9:30 Eastern, we will be here live, trying to provide as much value as possible. Apple is at the bottom. Microsoft there's that push to the high. See if it can continue on. If it does continue, if Microsoft continues on, which it might not because it's got all this chop up here. There's a lot of price action up into that 406.50 level. You may get to continue on to this high side, but with Nvidia and Apple on their lows, I think we can get this little bit of a reversal here. If 605 fails, it's become the point of control. It's become the point of control, so we're going to look to maybe rotate through it and push back to the downside. Trying to stream, trying to remain accurate in my levels and accurate in my executions. It's all kind of just you just got to manage it as best you can. Max put all those under there. So Max put all those under there. So now we are breaking the highs with Delta is congruent. We do have Apple still on the lows, but I'm assuming Microsoft is still breaking out those highs. So yes, Microsoft is still breaking out those highs, not quite failing. If we fail 605, that's where I want to be. I don't really like the point of control as a entry point. However, I do like the level for myself as far as having the overnight high being rejected. These wicks that don't end up filling usually reject. So if this fills up here and breaks about the high, then we should rotate to the highs once again. Like I said, because of this potential failed breakdown, grab some liquidity, then rotate back to the highs. So that's what I possibly see as far as that long side is concerned. Yeah, so we got out. We maximized this short here. We got in with 2 contracts, took off one at a major structure point at 600. I front run 600. I didn't want to not get filled on that just to secure some. And then we trailed out as best we could based on price action down here at the 80s. We gave back a little bit, but really not much. Risked about 100 to continue us down to potentially make us unlimited downside momentum, right? So 2 wicks here at 11, overnight high rejection. Softy still looking to hold, and Apple making a low base here. Microsoft, I want to see it kind of just fail. And Nvidia, I want to see also just roll over. So there it goes. Nvidia's pushing us. Apple made a low base and looking to break the lows. If Microsoft fails the highs, then we are going to continue ourselves to the downside. Reasonably risking above here. I kind of would like to see maybe one more wick, but that's a nice little bit of liquidity grab. And there you go, pushing down to 605. We got triggered in. If that was just a liquidity grab to pump us, then so be it. But realistically, I wanted to see what happened below 605. If we went up above one more time before, I was going to put an entry here at 610, but I did not get that next one. We just went to grab that liquidity there and push us to the high side. So if we fail it here, we're going to add. Oh, nope, now we can't. Okay. Sometimes this gets stuck. I hate when that happens. But if we add, and I'm gonna have a flatten button going on here. So there's that continuation push to the high side. Everything kind of, yeah, I'm not taking that there. I wanted this failure here. This is where I was looking for this liquidity grab to the high. This was purely a grab at 605. Like, that's why I usually don't like to get an entry right there at the point of control, because it does act as a kind of key level for a bounce. But really now, with that failed breakdown, and you're kind of holding above 611, if it doesn't fail here, we got S&Ps now rotating higher. If we do break out above 621, possibly look to rotate up to 641. But if we fail here, maybe we fail hard, fail fast, and we can get a nice little winner out of this. I have a really tight stop on it. 30 ticks or so. Risk 150 to make a bit more. Try to add below these here. And just kind of rinse and repeat on what we're doing. All right, secure at 250. but this looks like it wants to continue on. Microsoft holding us up because Apple is looking to break its lows, and Nvidia also caught a little bit of a bid there. I expect Microsoft to fail this breakout, to be honest with you, especially into this chop zone here. There's a lot of liquidity there for shorts, and if Apple breaks down, then this is going to be a fail break of the high, especially in a range-bound type day. Not trying to give back a ton. Always one good trade away, right? This could be the point where we melt off. Apple's breaking the low. And Microsoft's still holding. Let's see if Microsoft can break. It's a very similar chart, right? You got a base, a failed breakdown, and a rotation to the high. Do you see the fail breakout this second time? And if there is a fail breakout a second time, does that give us a really strong push to the downside? If not, we're probably in an area where we can just continue on for a while. But we're going to wait and see. 11:04. My stream normally ends at around 11. I'm looking for one more good trade here. Maybe we get to 11:30, 12 o'clock today, but realistically, not kind of trying to overdo it. We have our express funded. We were down, we're up, we're down now, and our combine we're up 490. We were up about 700 on that before, so we're gonna just be mindful of that. If we get to these highs, we're gonna see what happens there. Microsoft's still not playing. Apple still, wicked the bottom and didn't quite break down, but it still looks like, and then Nvidia is holding us up. So those three names, Tesla's just bouncing around. Microsoft is what's holding us. Maybe if we get to that 406.18, 406.20 level, we'll fail it and then rotate back down again. But this could be the true breakout area as well. With Apple just pushing these lows, man, pushing them hard. S&P is not quite playing along either, not really breaking out to the highs, while the NASDAQ is. So could we get maybe one more little divergence here and short that top again? That's where we shorted before. We played it pretty well. We shorted down here. So let's maybe see if we can't do something like that as well again. We get a little flush pop, rotate. Microsoft. I want Microsoft to fail the highs. They're starting to give some selling into there. Maybe we can put some selling back harder. Let's see if we can get this to be a lower high. Looking to enter here. Yeah, we're triggered in. See if that's just a grab. I'm going to rotate through. If we fail the overnight high, we're going to add one. And we're going to take that first take profit down at around, actually 605s, right? That's that liquidity grab there. Oh, okay, we're pushing back against the highs again. Running at Microsoft, just running high. So it looks like we had the fail breakdown and we're continuing our momentum to the high side. So you got that little whip action there, possibly looking even to grab some more momentum. We're gonna buy this here through the highs. No. Oh, I didn't want to do that. What the fuck is this? Fine. I don't know what the fuck that was. Alrighty. Looking to break these highs. There was that break of the high. Do we get a continuation or not? Looking at that 41.50 level, right? I was mentioning before. We kind of gave back some of this win here, but we're looking, like I said, we're looking to see if we can get that one more good move to the downside on a failed breakout on a rotational type day. Get that stop up there. See if we can get this thing to flush again. I'm going to take really quick add on this. Take one off down here instead of adding there and see if we can make that work. We got right to that 406.18 and started to sell off, so let's see if we can continue that selling. Triggered in, looking to go short a little bit further down here. We're going to add a second on if we do get below 18s. We're quick out if we do flush that overnight high, or we're going to front run the overnight high to get that first contract out, and then see if we could run it down to the downside again one more time after flushing this high, really being a rotational type day, lacking momentum on breakouts. So let's see if that failed breakout now comes in hard and we can get a little bit of a wick down here, get us involved in that add, and then quickly out at 612. Added our second on, so now we're in 2 contracts looking to see if we can get the flush down to that overnight high. I was going to add at the overnight high, but I'm looking to take one off this time. I've been adding a little too low instead of taking my 2 contracts and running with it. Now we got one here. I'm going to push that to break even. If that doesn't trigger, then so be it. But we did. So we got triggered. We got one off. Now we're going to let this thing try and rotate to the downside. We do have that there. This could be now the actual move, or, like we said, just coming right to that spot where I was thinking about adding, and people are also thinking about adding, and maybe pushing through the high. So now we are rotating again, getting that wick off top. I was aggressive on it. I haven't been aggressive, so I've been mindful of being aggressive lately. Glad I was able to take off some there. We're looking to get this thing to continue to flush the overnight low, overnight high, and if we can, and get down back into that liquidity zone there, well, there we go. Nice and hard, nice and fast. That's how we like our moves to be. Good short there from the top. I'm glad I took that second attempt at it. 605 was a very important level. We went right to it, right to 600. We should flush 600 now, and if we do, we need to see what happens down there at 17,580. That was the important level before. So if we flush 600 again, 580s should come into play. If we reject 600 and rotate back to the highs, then that's just, it is what it is. We are pushing down with Microsoft, so that is helping us out. That point of control is really messing with us here as a liquidity zone. I do not want to get back higher than the overnight high, because if it accepts back there, we could possibly rocket back up to the upside. So really we want to try and hold below 605, below 600, down to 580. And then once we get to 580, that's going to be really important, right? This was a big-time liquidity zone before. We trailed out pretty nicely there. We're going to try and trail it out again here. So if we flush 600 here, hopefully we can now make a hard move down towards that 580, right? 605. If we can flush 600, then our stop's going to come up here to just above the point of control at 605. Don't want to give a lot back on that kind of move. That is a pretty good bounce off of 600. I don't like it for myself, but that 30-minute candle still looking like it's heavy, looking like it's holding. So we are doing all right here with that overnight high as the stop. Now the 30 minutes kind of turning green, so we are looking to potentially get stopped out on this, as our 600 level has held pretty good. 605 is now holding, so we are looking at this is maybe grab some liquidity at 600, but we have our stop at a great location at the moment. Didn't get ticked out really. This is an ad, so we are just trailing it, trying to see how much we can get out of it. If I get 100 out of it, that's cool. If I get 1,000 out of it, also cool. But I'm looking to kind of just manage this position correctly based on price action. If we can flush 605 again, then hopefully we don't ever revisit that overnight high, right? We don't want to ever revisit that tick that we just had there. If we do, then it's likely to rocket through it, right? So this kind of wick here, are you looking to see maybe is this a liquidity grab? Because those are pretty strong candles to the downside. For this to just stop on a dime and rotate off, there's probably a pretty decent buyer here. So just be mindful of that as well. So that's just my thought through all these trades that I'm making. 2 times we took that short from that level. 2 times it's working out. We're trailing it as best as we possibly can to try and maximize gains to the downside while also securing some of these profits along the way, not risking a ton of my profits to give it back. I want this thing to flush 605 pretty badly already. My stream usually ends at 11. I want to be done by 11:30. This move here to the downside could be the one that really helps me out, but if it breaks above, there we're out again. We've been kind of fluttering around with this profit point, right? We're about up 600 on the eval, still down 195 on the express funded. But like I said, if we did accept the back above that overnight high, we were going to get stopped out anyway, somewhere close to break even. So you got to secure some of that money. If we do flush it again, we'll look to try and re-enter again. But look at that kind of move. We got that wick off top, broke highs, rotated down, accelerated, added a second, took some off, which was good that we were able to do that. And now, like I said, we are only one of these away from actually, really maximizing our gains for the day and making up our week. We got a little bit of scope, All right, that was a wick bottom on the Apple chart. Grab some liquidity. It might rotate to the highs, so that might also help carry this to the highs at 41. I'm going to use the bathroom real quick. I do like this price action here, not quite getting the highs on the delta, but we are pushing through this high here. It might be another long idea here, but just be mindful of this support. I'm going to use the bathroom. Give me 2 minutes. I'm going to stream till 11:30 today, all right? All right. Okay, we're getting a little tweezer tops there. Not a lot of follow through at a point where there was breakout potential before. We do need to make sure that the Apple chart re-accepting into that range. And if Microsoft's re-breaking out, again, we got to wait till maybe it gets to that 406.18, 406.20 level again. All right, not making new highs there. I'll take another shot at that. We're not getting that momentum to this. You are stalling on your delta. So I do look to see if I can rotate this down again. No breakout here. Lower high. Maybe get this thing down to the end, at least to the overnight high again. Play with that level a little bit. Use that stop. Where did I have this at? Right here, just above that candle there. If we do flush it again, look to maybe add a second one on and take it off at the bottom. So add a second here. And then I want to take profit down there. Once again, just kind of playing with these levels a bit on a Friday with a lack of momentum on the breakouts. But this breakout seems like it wants to play this time. Yeah. would like this S&P to play along. Apple bouncing. Speeding up on this short side. Wow, that's just a grab, huh? Want to see this thing roll over one more time? Can we get this contract off again at the overnight high is the question. I'm playing this level until it doesn't work. Really, that's what it all comes down to. No centering. I want to get these stops together just above the value area high. If we can kind of hold there and rotate back to the value area low is the beautiful move that I would love to see. However, right now we're kind of just fiddling with this high here. We're looking to possibly do a little breakout of it. I'm not sold on this short totally, but I took it because I'm trying to be a little bit aggressive, playing my levels, just being smart with risking my reward. I mean, limiting my downside and then maximizing my rewards on things, right? Trying to get on 2 contracts so I could take one off and then be able to trail one to maximize gains, right? That's really the end of this game, is trying to maximize your gains once you are able to limit your risk, right? So if I could limit some risk here, right, I'm going to do that. I'm going to not want to risk this whole thing. If it does come out here and break out to the high side, then fuck, I don't want to be involved. I want to be out quick, lose my 200, 250, and then my 250 on the trade, and then try it again if it's going to fail, right? But if it's not going to fail now, then it's probably going to break out, and I don't want to be involved. So I want to try and get this thing to get one of those contracts off as quickly as possible so I can be risk-free. That's my goal every trade I take. Be risk-free as quick as possible. Get below that 21.75 again. The lack of follow-through on breakouts always makes me want to take a short. I mean, really, at the end of the day, that's what I want. I want to fade highs. I want this thing to rotate to that low there, that overnight high, that 611, 612 area, so I could take one off there like I did on the previous trade, and then let this thing try and just melt off for the rest of the day. That's what my goal is on a trade like this. If we could crack the bottom here at my entry, at my break even, I might just run this thing to 21, right, to stop up, right up below here, just to kind of completely limit my risk. 25. Yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to limit my risk to the 200 level, because if it holds here, it should pop. There's a pop. Get me out. If you want to run up to the upside, just do it now so I can get involved later. All right, no, we're not. We have some good price action here for a short, so I'm going to continue to hold this. Come on, price action for the short. Be right. Be the right number. Let's go. Talk it out. Get it down. You know you want it. You know you want to be short. Come on. Get down there. Delta is trying to push up a bit. I don't like that at all. I want to see this thing tick red. Come on. A short, this failed breakout right here just doesn't lend me to think that it wants to go long, right? It looks like it wants to be a short. This is where I like to fade these, but really it's just holding up that level too well. A lot of these slow times that will give me a little pop, stop me out and run down. So that's another reason why I want to kind of try and limit this risk a bit, but I keep pulling it up, pulling it down, pulling it up, pulling it down. I should probably just get out of this and let it dance around a bit more. Ay, ay, ay. One good trade, one bad trade. One good trade, one bad trade. Right? Down 5. Ay. Pretty much. I need to do this. I need to take this short if it's going to be a failed breakout. We're taking a second shot at this. Something about this has got to be correct. I don't know what that is. That's a... Let's see if we can get this failure now. Come on, get me off one. Get me off one. We got one off. There we go. Fuck yeah, baby. I don't know what's going on here. I got to figure out my stops going on. Come on, rotate through the lows. Give it to me. There we go. Come on, rotate through the lows. We got a risk-free. There we go. Look at that flush, baby. Let's go. Come on, flush now lower. Flush now lower. Let's go low. So get below 600. Can we get below 600? Let's see if we can get below 6. This has been a big line in the sand here. If we can get that flush down, we should get a really big melt here. If this is the time that it breaks 605, 600 right here, this liquidity zone, we could be looking at our biggest trade of the day here. Look at this move here. Let's go. Let's go. Come on now. Sometimes you got to stay on a little longer than you want. Come on. Get below 600. If we get below 600, we're going to start to trail it a little bit to 605, point of control. But really this breakdown here of this area is really important to me. We're going red to green on the day. We're looking to see if we can make this trade our best one of the day. Hopefully we do not revisit the overnight high anymore. If we do, then we're going to get stopped out, but fuck it. We are in. We're golden. We are just sitting in profit at this time. We're looking to see if we can flush this low. If we can flush 600, 580 is the next line in the sand. So hopefully we can flush this 600. If you're risk averse, if you're very good at holding risk, you could say price should not get back to the high of the day anymore. That's what we're looking at here. Apple looking to break lows. Microsoft hopefully failed that high, which it did. Nvidia looking to fail as well. So looking to hold this overnight low. 605 once again acting as that resistance. 600 as well. So we got to flush 600. If we could flush it, like I said, 580 is that first real important target. You can see that high volume node there and a high volume node there. Price loves high volume nodes. If it can get through this one right here, this big line in the sand, then hopefully we can flush it and rotate down and continue our sell side. If we do get to 580 this time around and we don't break, then like I said, we're going to be pretty tight with our stop. But realistically, I would love to see this thing now rotate down to overnight lows since we never really ticked off on those overnight lows. So clean up both ends of the overnight in a range bound type day and go from there. So 600 now, we're here again, bouncing. Let's see if we can flush it. We need to flush 600 for this thing to work out further in our favor. Like I said, it's one good trade. One good trade is going to make your day or, at least continue on. There you go. Broke 600. Now let's see what happens if we can get to that liquidity zone. Let's see if we can get from that 600 and not be like a wick off grab and then another rotation to the high. See if we can get that thing to now follow through down to 580. It's holding 600 again. I don't like it. I don't like when it holds those levels, but I want it to kind of flush it one more time. A hard 600 flush and a hold. Got to get below this level. That was a nice little wick there, but I don't trust that it wants to bounce yet. Something about this heavy delta. The way price sold off from the top. Nvidia selling off. Microsoft also just not near its highs again. Apple, I would love to see it break the lows one more time. Come on, baby. I need Apple to flush the lows and make this a red Friday. Make this Friday just painful for longs so I could hold this thing as long as possible. There's the Apple on a crack. We need to crack 600 again. 600 here. If 600 drags us down, Apple continues down. That's going to keep the confluence going, right? There we go. We're pushing the lows now. Hopefully we break the low of this wick here. If we could crack the low of this wick, then we should get that continuation to continue down. We do have a lot of congestion all the way down, like I said, to that 90, 80 level. So once you get into here, there is congestion. So I do need this thing to play along a little bit. We're sitting around 75 ticks in profit, which is fantastic. We are not looking to go above 605 anymore now that we're flushed 600. So we're going to trail above 605 because if we do return back above 605, then we're gonna launch, right? So we're just securing some of this. We're going to go back to auto centering. I usually do no centering when I'm trying to make my 2 stops for my ads to get on. So we got wicked out here at the top, kind of screwed our P&L a little bit because we were looking to get this thing to dump. I should have expected that little extra wick. Like I said, should have got out, but we were expecting this move. So why get out if this is going to happen potentially? So stopped out, got right back in, re-entered, got our first one off. We kept playing with this level here. We'll add one, take one off at the overnight high, and then continue on. So we are playing with 600, and this wick is no good for me. I need S&Ps to continue to the downside. Let's have a little biscotti. Let's see if we get above 605. Obviously, we got to be out anyway. So that's where we're at. Let's continue down. Flush from 6, get down to 580. Another 20 points. Can't go wrong with a little Nonas. We have turned our day pretty much positive, so can't be mad at that, right? Really, anything that we secure from 600 and below is going to be profits for the day. And we're up 8 and change on the combine, so we're pretty close on the combine to getting funded for a $50,000 account. I'm just showing you the leverage of being able to trade copy and manage your positions in the right way where you can limit your risk to the downside and just have enough bullets in the gun to continue to take trades so you can try and maximize trades like this one that we're in currently. If we can get a nice little delta push to the downside here, we could get a nice flush down to 580, right below here, right below this 594. Delta's congruent. There's a nice push. We should not come back to 600. So we have pretty much secured a red to green day here. Now we're looking to see if this thing can get down to 580. Once it gets into this yellow zone and starts to flush down, we're going to start to trail pretty tight. Like I said, this is a liquidity zone. I want to crack the low of 85. There we go, cracking the 85s. Now I'm going to be tight with this. Stop. Look at that thing roll over. Very, very nice. Looking to see if 580 is going to play or not. If we wick up and get out here, I'm okay with it. When you get a big flush like that, you're probably going to get a little bit of a retracement. Or if not, this is going to be a liquidity grab to run to the high side. If it's going to flush through this zone like a hot knife, then I'm going to be happy. There we go. We're still holding this thing to the downside. 580 was that initial target. If we do get to 580, we're going to start to really trail it down there. We're going to trail it to 580 once we break through it. So we're going to stay above. So before we stayed above this yellow zone, I think we're going to stay above it again. If we can get through 80 pretty easily. There we go. Look at that thing flush. Woo, baby. I'm going to kind of secure a little bit more of this because when it flushes that hard, there's no telling if it's going to rebound right back. So I'm securing a little bit more of this fast move. A fast move, I go with fast trail. Slower moves, I slower trail, right? See that little bounce through, that liquidity grab from 80. We grabbed from the lows, and now we bounced up really quick. There's a chance that that rebound grabs us and runs us back to the high. So fast moves, I trail fast. Slower moves, like while I was grinding, I was trailing slower, right? So you got to be one with your market here. We're up on this trade now pretty good. If we can get through 580, if we flush it again, I'm going to put my stop there. And then everything from there is free money. The target prior was going to be that 569 or VWAP. So we could approach VWAP once again. So we're flushing there. Like I said, fast moves. We're going above that candle there. Fast moves, fast trails. Slower moves, slower trails. Oh yeah, here we go, baby. Let's fucking go. I am going to pass a combine with this fucking trade here on accident.
just by not being involved in trades earlier. Yeah, 580. That's going to be my line in the sand there for profits. Now, anything below here, I want to see if we can get through VWAP. That's like the ultimate target, right? 569 was a great target there, the high of the opening range. Now, if we rotate into that range through VWAP, VWAP will act as my trailing stop as well. There you go. There's a nice little wick there. We're grabbing some liquidity. I'm staying above 80 for now. I want it to get to VWAP. If it gets to VWAP, then we're going to go to 69s. Secure that much there. This trade has netted us pretty well. We're willing to give back, 100 or so bucks on this to see if we can get through VWAP. But looks like we kind of want to get back up through 80s. So we're going to probably get stopped on that. If it doesn't, if this is a liquidity grab and runs up to the highs, we don't want to beat it. There we go. Let's go. That's how you fucking do it right there, baby. Tell me that's not a great little way to end your week. Up 1,200 on the eval and the express funded, up 395. We went from down 8 to up 395 on the day. Another qualifying profit day, bringing ourselves from yesterday to today. We're over $1,000 in profit, but guess what? On fucking Wednesday, we went and decided to go negative $2,000. So it wasn't a green week, but we did go green Monday. Tuesday we came all the way back. Wednesday we went negative. Thursday we were green 700. Today we're green 395. So overall, very, very happy with what we had going on today. Somehow we're still with fees and stuff down just a touch on the account, but I'm going to take a green day and run with it. 250, about $100 in fees. There we go, baby. That's how you fucking catch a move right there. If you like that, that's how you close your week. I appreciate you sticking around if you were around for that short there. I know longer stream, waiting a long time to catch a move like that, but pretty happy with it. We should rotate now down and continue down to maybe even that overnight low with this kind of move here. But we kind of paper cutted ourselves early, but we took 3 really, really good shorts. 1, 2, actually we took a long. So we kind of chopped ourselves up a bit in some of this range, but once we got to some of these levels, it's really just more about being patient, letting price get to your levels, and then just playing with them, rotating them through. I can't be mad at that. Back-to-back days on that eval. There's another flush there for the S&P. So the NASDAQ also looking probably to follow. There you go, right to VWAP. If we would have stayed up there, we're still in. But realistically, once you flush that target, you got to put your stop there and hope it never looks back at it. Now we're at VWAP. We're going to flush VWAP. We're entered in that opening range. So you can still look at this to see the rotation to the downside. But I'm very happy with the last 2 days for myself. Really overall this week, my max drawdown day really kind of ruined everything. However, it also set myself into motion for I need to be a little more aggressive with some of my entries to be able to maximize this profit, right? Yesterday and today, I was able to take advantage of that and kind of just kick myself in gear, get a kick in the butt, and start back anew and try and build this account, like I said, slowly, but also a little bit more aggressively. I appreciate anybody who stuck around. We are done for the day, right? We went 693 back to even. So yeah, this is our profit loss. Let's do this here. New. This is my funded account. This is how many days I've been in. So 13 on this year. So today's the 13th day. We were hovering in profit all up until Tuesday, and we decided to give this whole thing back and then some. Yesterday we went up 7. Today we're up 3. We're basically right there, back at break even. Looking for this day to never happen again within this account, right? We're looking to grow this account in ways that will just slow and steady like this, how we were, and then get a nice pop, and then you can pull back a little bit. Maybe this, like a little smaller loss day, and then grind it back up, right? So today was an excellent example of grinding, making good choices, being a little bit aggressive, and then growing the account slowly and steadily once again. And we are one day closer to getting another funded account. We're just 295. We're one good trade away from being funded with another 50K account. So we'll have the 100K and the 50K hopefully by, early next week. We'll be streaming everything live. I could show you how to get funded, how to do it, all that stuff. If anybody had any questions, let me know. But until Monday, I think we're going to be done for the week here. That's a really good way to grind out a day, grind out a week. Really kind of crappy, like I said, on that Tuesday. But really today, we spent most of the day grinding, losing, winning. Then we just started on winning, pulled back a little bit, and then hit that home run right there. That was a great trade. Left us up there, up around that $400 mark for the day as far as profits are concerned. So unfortunately, like I said, this last week put us in a hole, right? We were up a bit for the week, up a bit, down a bit, up a bit, up about 3 and change for the week, and then we took a $2,000 loss. Then we were grinding ourselves back, and now we're looking to try and get ourselves back positive. We're very close to getting there. Just one more day this month. Showing our P&L curves, trying to be transparent, trying to show everybody what it's all about. There you go. Overall, minus fees, technically we would be up positive about $700. So just be mindful of that when you're trading, how much the fees really do eat away. So you should be really a lot more picky with your entries as far as where we're trying to get in and have less execution. Realistically, if I would have caught that trade right there, right at the beginning of the day, done for the day, right? One trade, not a lot of fees, 2 contracts, $10 or so. You start entering in 20, 30 trades on a day more, then you're going to start getting eaten up. So, the day that I lost all that drew us down, we really kind of ate ourselves in the fees there, especially. And then, a day like today, we did pretty well, but we still overtraded a touch. So we just got to be mindful of that moving forward. Good little battle. We're battling our way back. Very happy with our mental state, being able to really battle through a really crappy week. Like I said, Monday was good. We did all right. Tuesday, we went from being down to green. So we went down pretty hard. And then we're very picky, did a really good job on picking our trades. So we went from red to green. So that was a great day. Wednesday was just really hard. I missed that first trade that I wanted to get into. Then I was waiting for my levels, and I would just kind of chop myself up, overtraded a bit, and didn't secure profits when I could. So that made me adjust my aggressiveness on trying to get some entries and look to secure profits as they go. So yesterday, up 7. Today, we ground from being down to being up about 395. So really pretty good as far as learning from our mistakes on Wednesday. Should never really get to that negative 2,000 on a day, especially if I'm managing my positions correctly. I was letting some of the losers become outsized losers, and I was not securing some of the profits as they came. So realistically, that's where I'm kind of just reviewing my week for you guys and making sure that I'm able to get everything secured. So next week, we could have, instead of starting and grinding and digging out a hole the rest of the week, maybe next week we start off with a bang. We do a trade like we just did, take our money and run, and then just build on it the whole week. Because we can go from, we were up about, a little over $1,000 on the account. We draw down to about $1,000 in drawdown. Now we're back to break even on the account. We're at square one, and easily in a week we could be up 5-10 grand, and that's not out of the realm of possibility. Is it what I'm looking to do? Eventually, really, yeah. But as I don't have a P&L target or anything like that, and I don't think setting that kind of high goal right away is a smart move as far as that. But I think reasonably, if we have a day like yesterday and the way we finish off today, $1,000 here and there isn't out of the realm of possibility, and gets us back into the green and not looking back at these this week's little bit of trials and tribulations. But overall, I mean, realistically, we had a green week, first week, second week. This week is our first red week. Kind of wiped us out a little bit, but we're right back to break even. So let's build off of this momentum from Thursday and Friday. Come Monday next week, we are going to hit it hard, hit it fast, take our profits and run. I hope everybody enjoyed the week. Check out daytradingcoffeecompany.com, daytradingcoffeeco.com. Get yourself some coffee. Fuel your trading adventure. It's our new venture here. It's something that I'm pretty passionate about. I love coffee, love trading, so I mix the two together. If we part of our portions of our funding is going to go to donating funds and combines to traders. So it's not just for me. It's not for everything. I just want to build out a good community and try and help traders out who can't really afford to get that trading. So until Monday, I hope you guys had a great week. Enjoy your weekend. I'll talk to you.